Well, it's just that on this median that we have here, like, it's about getting our point across, not so much how loud we are. So this new headset gimmick is great because now I actually feel like I don't have to scream over anybody to get my point across.
Yeah, and just necessity breeds invention, I guess, because
we got a lot of invention tonight.
We didn't need these headphones until we added the ability to incorporate a phone call, and we needed a phone call for today's, but we'll get into that later.
It's a very special podcast today.
Because none of our guests are here yet.
I like the first time we have guests and neither of them are here.
Well, listen, I'll get into that when old Blake Chadwick shows up eventually. Man. But in the meantime, we can take care of a little bit of business beforehand, because we're only talking about one thing today. But before those people before Blake and Anthony jump on board, I need to. I just want to talk about you getting sneezed on this week.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe you wrote that down.
No, I didn't write it down. I just thought it was hilarious.
The best part about being sneezed on was not you, but
well, we were working.
Yeah, we were working, and I was trying to speak to the representative at the business that we were working at, and he came out and was talking to me, and then just sneezed out of nowhere, and my first reaction being sneezed was like, okay, that happened. Then I looked to my left, and
he sneezed once. I thought he sneezed
twice.
times.
He sneezed twice, and then he sneezed openly again. And I turned over like real loud, and our partner, Zach, a longtime partner of mine, I could just see his head in like a very like Seinfeld way, just like appear at the corner of the building, like sideways. Like, did that really happen? And you know that face he makes, where I was like, yeah, that really happened. And it was like, whoa. And then of course I came back around, and you know I guess I now have the corona. I don't know.
You might, but if you do, I do. I guess
we're in this together always, buddy.
Good thing we're not bringing this up once Blake's here, because he might just turn around and walk out. But we got to say that Zach is also a little bit, seems like a little bit of a hypochondriac during this new Corona age. I just see him constantly with the Lysol wipes and the what do you call that? What do you squirt? Disinfectant or
hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
He went through. So when this first started, and people started to really notice, he brought a bottle of it with him from work, because his wife's family are all pharmacists and they own a pharmacy company, so they had access to this stuff. So he just brings a hand sanitizer. Like, we'll start using this. It was like, I don't know, like 3-4 ounce bottle, like, you know, something that would take you or I a month or two to go through or more. He went through the whole goddamn thing in one day, and then at that moment I was like, Zach, this is going to take a long time, this whole coronavirus thing. Like, they're projecting like a long time. Like, how much hand sanitizer do you have? Because I would kind of like calm down if I were you.
Pace yourself. I mean, I guess every time you touch something that's not, I think the difference is touching something that's been out of your control.
Oh my God!
Did he walk in?
Yeah, we're stopping it right now. Oh, hit the music, boys! Hit the music.
Look at this guy.
All right.
Oh my God! Yeah. You know what I like?
Did you drive high, sir? Sir, did you drive high? We're American citizens. We're adults here, okay? You smoke when you get to where you need to go. Says the man who smoked before he left his house as well today.
I'm like carbed over.
Oh, he's carved over. That's all right.
You got a carb hangover from too many
burgers, donuts, fries, mac and cheese.
Does it sound all right in your thing?
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben.
We didn't have headphones till this week.
This is like literally better than 80% of the broadcasts I do.
This is fantastic to hear. This is fantastic. Blake Chadwick, of all people, just put over your system, Ben.
He's been avoiding it for a while, so I had to impress once he showed up.
If I didn't think he had the corona, I'd reach out to touch him to make sure he was real.
Of all the guys, he's the one braving the elements to do destructions at the depot.
Listen, he came all the way from Boca. Who knows what the fuck's up there?
He drove through at least 3 clouds of Corona.
There's lots of Corona on the way.
Yeah. That's right. You drive a really nice car, so it probably weeds all that out.
So that means there's no Corona in Boca.
Well, listen, man, you could drive a really nice car and still be a sick fuck.
I think that's been proven time and time again.
In fact, I think it's more prevalent. All right, so Blake Chadwick is finally on the podcast with us. Ben, this is a surprise.
I know.
I'm like jumping right into the fire here.
Well, listen, you have to. You know why you're jumping right in the fire?
Blake, it's his fault.
Because 10 o'clock does not mean leave your house at 10:15.
Well, that's what happens when you eat a lot of carbs.
I think eating carbs is now code for something. I don't know.
It's not, though. It's not because he knows.
No, I know.
We're
carbs
animals.
fuck me up, too. So.
You must eat like
I mean, I don't drink a lot, but the carbs fuck me up way more.
Like, what did you eat? Like 3 pizzas?
I ate 2 big burgers, fries, mac and cheese, and a half a dozen donuts.
Ooh, those were good donuts, too. Those look good.
And that's
Dandies.
over... Wait.
Those are Dandies?
Those are Dandies.
Oh, fantastic.
That's over the course of, 4 hours?
Probably not even.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying.
It started after Mania started and was done before it was over.
Okay. 3.5, maybe?
It was like an early 90s
Pre-show or
It was
not?
like an early 90s Mania.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. All right, I get it.
I mean, WrestleMania does tie into the only reason we're all here today. Is there
Well,
any?
this
I mean,
is-
I didn't see it. Is there any reason to even bring up last night other than, I guess, the Undertaker?
I think you would enjoy that.
See, I watched that.
I think he'd like that.
I would watch that, but I'm not watching the rest of that garbage in front of nobody. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I think you're out of the part of your life where you're like, yay, let me see a 15-minute scientific classic.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with that being said, I mean,
Yeah.
I personally thought Zayn and Bryan was great. Like, I enjoyed the heat and all the psychology and everything in that match.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? Those are
It was
two-
good. It was good.
And if that match with that same structure at a crowd would have been incredible.
Well, you have to understand, those two specifically, they probably did that match in front of nobody for years.
Touche. Touche.
Yeah, they know how to work a small room.
they definitely know how to work your proverbial VFW.
Most anybody that came out of the Performance Center, though, has never had that experience.
But Blake, the one bonus I took out of empty room wrestling is that compared to Mania in front of 80,000 people, is that you could hear the character dialogue in the ring.
Yes.
Which was kind of cool when the person was capable of doing it.
Well, I was going to say, it shows you they know how to work.
Yeah.
Because obviously...
I mean, a Kevin Owens jaw jacking through a whole match is just extra. It's just an extra bonus.
That to me, he obviously never, amounted to a ton. But that's what I always used to love about Brodus Clay.
Yeah.
When he would jaw jack with the opponent.
Steiner's my favorite guy ever for doing that.
Yeah.
And I always encourage certain people that we know to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, the guys that, that character fits, to me, that's certainly a good thing to see. I mean, to me, the Owens-Rollins match was solid, but it felt like a Raw.
Yeah.
A DQ finish on Mania.
Dude, they all feel like a Raw because it was dressed exactly. It was
that's
presented exactly like a
thing.
Raw.
I try not to be, big, over-the-top Mark fan guy, especially at this point in my life. But how do you not do anything with the entrance?
Right.
I mean, it literally looked the exact same.
They just had the flag. That was it.
To me, it was 205 Live last night.
Right.
It was main event. I mean, it is no different other than the graphics.
I think it's safe to point out that there was a lot of design artwork, and there was probably a lot of props that were made for this WrestleMania. They couldn't ship any over.
No, agree. But you're telling me,
but they had 2 or 3 weeks to do
so
something.
you're telling me in a 2 or 3 week period, you couldn't make a really small scale pirate ship or something and put it off to the side?
Or just any kind of set
A
dressing.
flag.
Right.
Pirate
something. Flag, something.
Yeah, give it a little more.
Especially since they kept the intro with all the pirate
The
theme
only
stuff.
thing I did notice, and it wasn't really entrance related, it was around the arena. You saw more, I think, lit up banners that said WrestleMania than I think you saw on the TV.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, when you're looking at the hard cam, the only difference is the graphic.
Yeah.
I really wanted to bring up the point they should have had pirates, actual pirates, but then I realized, the coronavirus is the whole reason.
No, Chico was already doing Goldberg's entrance.
Oh my God.
He had a busy week or two.
Chico has had a busy week.
AEW match?
AEW match.
Not a dark match. A match.
A match on TV.
TNT.
Against the number 1 contender.
Yeah.
And
then working security on Mania.
And for
TV security, not just
for Goldberg, nonetheless.
Right. Can you imagine?
Good for him.
Like
the guy that knocks on Goldberg's door.
That goes in your resume, brother.
I mean, think about it.
That's highlight reel.
Well, think about it. I mean, if you always want to say, hey, I want to be a pro wrestler. But if at the end of the day, someone says, you knocked on Goldberg's door at the championship match at WrestleMania, like, doesn't that kind of, like, fill a little bit of a role?
It does. Now, to expand on that, on paper, like a lot of this WrestleMania, you preface with on paper, because on paper, winning your first championship, defeating Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania should be the top of the.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Like just a childhood dream, but when it's in front of nobody, boy, did that land like a fucking fart in church.
I mean, it might.
Thanks, Rusty.
It might not equate the exact same, but LeBron James, first title down here with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Strike shortened season.
Yeah.
Who's talking about
that's
that?
right.
Who's talking about that 8 years later?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's one of those things where, wrestling fans, hey, I remember back in 2020, blah, 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 people are going to still talk about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Braun's first title, squashing Goldberg essentially at WrestleMania.
Yes. But again, on paper, it's great. There is no video moment.
There's no moment.
You know what I mean? And that's did you watch the Drew McIntyre thing afterwards?
I did, but I probably need to go back and watch it because I don't remember how much.
Because he acknowledged that this is like he's achieving his childhood dream, all of it except it being in front of 80,000 people.
Right.
That he's not getting the moment.
And how big of a factor is that in the dream, though? I mean, you think about it, it's like,
it's pretty big.
I win the title. I'm the top guy.
It's
moving
pretty big.
forward, I'm the man.
But
that moment, like Daniel Bryan, for all that he does moving forward, he has Mania 30.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's not exactly Tree Falling in the Woods because it's on tape and people watched it, but it wasn't in front of anyone. Right.
As somebody who had that dream, imagine getting that far, everything you have to go through, and then to do that in front of absolutely nobody but Michael Cole.
Well, especially since
that's got to be so
it's not like you knew when they said 2 months ago you're going to be fighting Lesnar for the belt at Mania. You pictured one thing, and then 2 weeks out, right? You're given the other.
I mean,
that's the emotional.
Well,
that's the emotional
part
hit.
that I don't know if it's cool. I don't know really how to describe it, but there is still an element of the unknown. Like Drew is still going into tonight, not 100% sure he's winning the title.
That's the funny thing is like even once
they've shot multiple endings, they've shot multiple
right.
finishes, and it is WWE, it is Vince, it is Brock Lesnar. If there was ever a time to not do the switch,
it's now.
I mean, you saw multiple retentions yesterday.
Yeah.
The only title, I mean, you had the women's tag title change. I mean, that was kind of
Goldberg.
expected. And then you had the Goldberg, which is probably going to happen even if Reigns was the child. I think it only happened because it was going to happen anyway.
Right.
Like, I don't think Bill Goldberg was going to continue wrestling through the next couple of months.
No,
especially with the unknown, he's not going to keep training.
They only brought him in.
It was probably in his deal. Whatever.
Right.
They only brought him in to put Reigns over at Mania.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. And to get Fiend out of the title picture. But it's one of these things where, McIntyre now is sitting there tonight. He could have it all come crashing down.
And it hurts inside.
Right?
Well, that's the thing. Even if at some point in the match you don't know until it's radioed into the ref's ear and he tells you who's going over.
Right.
You still know before the finish.
Yeah.
Technically. This is a weird instance.
The only difference there
where they don't know
is as the guy who competed in the match. There might be shades of differences going into the finish that would remember. That
gives you a hint. This progression was if I won. This progression was if I lost.
So, but that's only him.
Right.
Literally, or three people.
Right.
It's Brock, Heyman, and him, and the ref, I guess.
But
that's it. And to me,
and a few decision makers.
Right. Your Adam Pearces and your DX guys and whatever.
And Vincent Hunter and blah, blah, blah.
But to me, that's got to be nuts for McIntyre. Because he's sitting there kind of disappointed the whole night anyway.
Right.
And then it could sit there like, here we go, I'm about to win.
Do I get it or am I getting
And they just keep it on Brock for a bigger moment in front of people.
Like the third shiv in your ribs,
Yeah.
And he doesn't know either.
Right.
Because they got two, and that's awful.
And kind of awesome, too, for just thinking about it.
It's great.
Kind of a cool thing.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
one would say then that if he sees his match tonight and he loses, he will feel a little bit abandoned on Monday.
I think someone's been doing podcasts for a while. He knows how to transition.
Thank you, sir. I was holding on to that for like 5 minutes.
On that, let's call Anthony and bring him in.
Bring him on in. Bring the big Slambino in.
He's in the middle of breakfast.
Now, before we get Anthony on the line, as Ben's dialing him up, where was Anthony on Abandonment Monday?
I don't fucking remember.
They'd already headed back with TK and company to South Carolina.
And they left Sunday night?
They probably left. We can ask him.
We can ask him.
I mean,
because he wasn't in the room.
No, he was not. He was.
You're looking at someone who wasn't even
If he
there.
was reliable and he was not on the West Coast,
yeah,
I would love to hear from 450 during this.
Here's the beauty.
Because Mark, I don't know if 450 was in the room.
Well, Blake. 450.
A free room. Of course he hopped in.
Blake, the beautiful thing about Abandonment Monday is it happens every year, and so we can bring new people in next year to talk about it.
This is kind of a thing.
Yes. I think it's our thing.
It's like Christmas.
Now, eventually, we have to get Kevin Gill involved.
Oh, that's already in my head. Here we go.
Yeah. Kevin Gill, the saving grace that picked Jackie up from the hotel.
Right. Hey.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, my goodness.
This is crystal clear.
Yeah.
This is a great setup.
It works.
Yeah.
Something actually worked.
Listen, and not only does it...
Conrad Temple's over here.
Listen, not only does it work, but it works first time. I didn't have to replug anything. I didn't have to look up a YouTube video.
Oh, this is great.
It's going. So
the whole Breakfast Club on.
So we were chit-chatting, and we are now segued into Abandonment Monday, so we're bringing you in. I'd like to start because it kind of starts with me.
But wait. Before we do that, how into breakfast are you, AJ? Do you want to do this right now or to wait?
Listen, I made a breakfast burrito with bacon, onions, peppers, tomato, and some cheese, and I'm good. I ate. How was your Wendy's breakfast?
My Wendy's was fantastic. Wendy's is the best breakfast. Now, hands down, it's not even close.
But before we get into Abandonment Monday, I need a breakdown here of the difference between the fries and the wedges.
Bro, the wedges are like heaven sent, and the fries are like stepped on by
now,
like some...
I know you're a Fuddruckers guy.
I am a Fuddruckers
guy. Are they
guy.
like those?
Okay, so the best I could tell about the wedges, they kind of taste like Checkers fries.
Okay.
But like potato wedges.
But don't Checkers have a little bit of seasoning?
Yeah, the seasoning.
Yeah, seasoned potato wedges.
No.
You're a stoner. You're like me. Of course you like seasoned fries.
I mean, I like the seasoned fries, but I don't know. That's
hear this
like
shit? You haven't had them. It's what that's the problem is you haven't had them. Go to
Fair.
Wendy's.
Fair.
Go to Wendy's. I just had the breakfast Baconator, which was fucking fantastic.
So what's that? Just throw an egg on it?
Oh,
no
burger. It's no burger.
It's sausage instead of burgers.
It's 2 sausage patties.
Okay. And the bread is different.
And the bread's a little different, and they do put cheese sauce on it. Yeah.
Cheese sauce.
Cheese sauce.
In lieu of cheese.
Yeah. No. Well, there's also cheese. There's American cheese and cheese sauce.
And you get the cheese treatment twice.
All right.
Do yourself a favor, Blake. Get a nice big Wendy's breakfast, and then you'll understand. And when you're doing it nowadays, because of the whole virus thing, it's always fresh. Like my fries were hot.
So it took a pandemic
for
fast food to become fresh.
It literally took people dying.
Certain people really step up in the moment, and I think fast food industry has really...
They're owning this thing.
Yeah.
They are.
They want to justify that $15.
Yeah, listen, give it to them. Give it to them. Because otherwise I'd have to cook myself, and at my house, that's a fucking nightmare and a half.
So anyways, we're celebrating Abandonment Monday. And, I mean, celebrating, reminiscing.
Morning?
Morning?
I guess not morning.
It's just Abandonment Monday, because it went all day.
It did.
We celebrate it. It's not like a real holiday where you celebrate it on the date. We celebrate on the day of, so like the day after Mania. Yeah. It's kind of like the third Thursday of the November is Thanksgiving, not a certain date. Christmas is the 25th, but we're doing more of like a government holiday or a federal holiday here. But so it started. I'll just start it because it literally starts the moment I get picked up by Jessica and Jackie as they're coming up to meet Blake to head up to Orlando.
And this is on Thursday.
This is Thursday in the morning, like around the.
I want to say y'all got to me 12, 1 o'clock,
Okay,
something
yeah.
like that.
So she rolls up. I jump in the car, and Jackie already has a cooler with Bud Lights, and he's drinking already, well on his way to.
Mania weekend, Jackie.
Mania weekend, Jackie. There's weekend, Jackie, which is being drunk from like Friday night till Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
I want to say Wednesday was like our day.
Yeah,
that was like the day we had.
Wednesday was
Jackie.
the day. Yeah, for sure.
But
sometimes a Tuesday.
So he immediately is, and literally, to be honest, from the moment I saw him, and I'm sure he started before that, till the moment we left on Monday, he did not stop drinking Bud Lights except to go to sleep. That was like literally one morning, he woke up before his both feet touched the floor. The hand had reached into the cooler, had grabbed 2 Bud Lights, and he mumbled breakfast. I swear to God. So that's just to set the tone. So we get to you in Boca.
And I want to say when you got to me, I was maybe running like a few minutes behind.
Right.
Or something like that.
You're running behind? No shit.
I know,
Wait,
right? Never seen that before.
He has been given the nickname by Gangrel of Late Blade.
However,
Late Blade.
At the same time, no one apparently other than Jackie, including myself who had a booking that night, no one other than Jackie was in a hurry.
No.
Yeah.
But when you get there, flip it out that I'm not ready to go. I mean, we're talking like Chiazzo hours here. It's like 1 o'clock, 2.5 hours from Orlando, and I've got like an 8 o'clock show.
Oh,
Right.
my goodness.
Like, what are you worried about?
And we still, we had to transfer everything from their car to your car because we were taking your car
Yeah,
off.
it was not a big deal, but
Right.
he's already starting the thing off pissed off because he's not in control. Like it's not he's used to running the Mania show.
Yes. Well, and generally, and I've gone to 8 WrestleManias with him, and before that, when I used to do the autographs, and Jackie used to do the autographs back in the late 90s and 2000s, it was always Jackie driving. It was on Jackie's schedule, Jackie's agenda. We went where he wanted to go, and 4-day tour, just like WrestleMania. It would be hotels and airports and the venues and whatever else, restaurants and et cetera. And it was always, and whatever, I don't care. I'm along for the ride. But this was the same way, except that you had to be places, obviously.
Yeah, I had.
Other than that, I was along for the ride.
I was going to the downtown rec center, which was like 25 minutes from the hotel, and we had. Supposed to have a handful of shows that weekend. It turned into about 2 shows that weekend. But hey, I still got paid. But nonetheless, yeah. I mean, it was one of these things where I remember we had the show on Saturday, or on Thursday rather, and then little guest appearance here, and we had the show on Saturday.
Yeah, you know what? It's like 11 o'clock. Adults are awake, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I don't know. Don't go to bed at 5 in the morning.
There aren't Sundays anymore.
Yeah, they're all.
There's no more days of the week.
My grumpy roommate. We don't do this every weekend.
To be fair, I still work.
I have a job as well.
Yeah. Oh,
thankfully,
that's right.
thankfully, I still have some work going on.
And so everybody's thankfully still working.
Yeah.
Well, we're not all professional kickballers, so.
Man, do I wish this was a live broadcast.
So
I'm broken.
So back to we're heading up.
So
and he's already in a mood.
We're heading up. They're doing their usual thing. Ben and I are looking at each other in the mirror, wondering, how this weekend's going to play out.
I knew.
Ben had an idea. This was, in all fairness, this was my first and I guess only Mania with Jackie.
Right.
I didn't have that Jackie experience because, little quick sidebar, right after I'd become friends with Jackie, the next Mania that followed, where we were both in the same place, was 2014, Mania 30 in New Orleans. And he gives me the wrong phone number. And I'm texting him. I'm blowing him up. What's going on? I'm seeing these pictures. He's with half the roster all weekend. I'm looking for a rub, trying to have some fun, do something. Bourbon Street. And this guy gives me the wrong phone number. Vintage Jackie.
Vintage.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, I guess looking back at the events of that weekend, it's probably a good thing he did give me the.
He did spend a moment in the back of a.
He did spend
cop car.
I don't know if it was just a car.
No,
I don't know for sure, but it was not a good scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're heading up there, and then night one was Wrestlemania, right?
Thursday night, I think.
Yeah, because
so.
that was so
there's some great side stories to that.
I had a show like 50, 60 strong there in the downtown rec center.
Oh God!
It was the talent was solid. Had some nice talent from around the country.
Anthony met up with us Thursday.
Anthony was on the show.
Okay,
I was on the show.
I mean,
who did you work, Anthony? I forgot.
I don't remember his name.
But wasn't it someone?
Big jacked up guy.
it was a donut spot thing, right?
Right. I mean, I got nothing else.
I remember. I was there. You came down with TK?
And Josh?
Yeah, TK was with me.
Yeah.
No, Josh.
No, Josh.
Sorry, TK,
no
because
Josh,
TK was
just
at
TK.
Wale.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because TK missed a shot. The fake Blake was giving him bedroom eyes.
On the fake Blake.
She was giving him the bedroom eyes, and he was Mr. Oblivious. Didn't know how to close a deal.
TK was oblivious, saying ain't so.
And to sprinkle on some more Jackie angst there at Wrestlemania,
Two things.
the Amy Rose situation.
There's the Amy Rose situation, and there was the Meltzer situation where Meltzer
Wait.
big-timed him.
Wait, wait.
Yeah, he did.
Wait, I don't remember this.
This was inside, backstage.
Like up in the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the bar was and all that stuff that he was like, he tried to be like, hey, what's up? And he just big-timed him, and it just just Jackie would then, like, after he walked away, cut a huge promo on Meltzer but it was like just funny to watch someone big time.
Now, did
Jackie.
he act like he didn't know who he was, or did he just not give him the time of day?
Meltzer blew right past him.
Oh,
So he acted like he didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, but you probably didn't.
that's the worst.
You know what?
Jackie
That
curse.
sounds like a Howard Brody story. Dave.
Or who was it in the parking lot?
It was Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, it was.
At
Dean
was it Target?
He tried all the names.
Supermarket.
He threw all the names at him. He wouldn't turn around.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't there. I only heard the story third hand, but.
Well, Blake, you better hope he doesn't listen to this. You'll be off the next season.
Off the next
There's so
season,
much.
I'll be getting 16 calls before the next week. He called me the other day because I made a comment about pissing him off from Simon saying something about him on Ring Warriors in like 2014, and I got a call from him. I was like, Howard, I'm just joking around. Give me a break here.
Wow.
Oh,
So yeah, and then at Wrestlemania also, Jackie got big timed by Amy Rose.
And this is right when she started like hanging out with names.
It was right around the time that she was still doing the stuff down here, and she was hanging out with the little groups after the shows. And like, I know she had gone back to Jackie's house one night with Beast and Jessica and all that.
Yeah, that's right, the Beast Night.
And
the Beast Night.
did he make a move on her and she freaked
It
out?
was like a 3 a.m. deal.
Yeah.
It was a very late night. Beast went for it, and no,
Yeah, and that was at Jackie's house.
that was at his home.
I was wondering.
So she's been a guest at his home. And for her to like big time him.
and I guess at his home when it's only Jessica there
Right.
and Beast.
Yeah. And a bunch of bunk beds in that extra room.
So when that moment happened, did she use her shoot voice?
I don't know.
Oh God.
What? Oh, listen, I'm not saying anything that isn't already known. Okay.
Wait,
I'm
there's a shoot voice.
of course, there's a shoot voice.
Wow, that just came out. I might have to scrub. This might be the first podcast I have to scrub.
Listen, we may have to just to protect Blake. He's the only one that still has anything going.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry,
Wait a
Blake.
second, but I didn't know there's a shoot voice.
Probably, I can imagine if
Like imagine if you were all of a sudden
Blake.
speaking to Lord Alfred Hayes,
Blake.
and he just spoke to you like he's from Indiana.
Blake, if Beast tries to fuck you, are you going to have a shoot voice?
That's not going to work for me, brother.
I mean, all of a sudden, whatever emanates from your mouth is not going to be what you normally.
It's like that Chris Farley sketch where she's playing they're playing the teenage girls, and someone reaches for one of his fries, and instead of using the girl voice, he goes, "No."
That's fantastic. Okay, so Jackie's on the rampage here.
So he's like Thursday night. He's already picked, or is creating.
Well, for those listening that somehow don't know what Wrestlemania is,
yes,
it's basically a collection of wrestlers from every major organization all hanging out in just a normal environment. So I mean, you're seeing the tops of the tops just interacting.
Jericho was there.
Jericho interacted. Well. He had a nice friend that night, but yeah, in case like Conan listens or something, right, Ben? But yeah, I mean, you're talking, New Day, Rey Mysterio, Marty Scurll, all kinds of names. If AEW was around, that obviously would have been.
Tori Wilson was there.
Oh yeah.
I got to rub it in Shane Helms for picking Valente in the Pizza Rumble.
Right, Helms was there.
We filmed the contrition video for our vlog,
and of course, I guess friend of the Breakfast Club, MVP.
He is friend of the Breakfast Club, wouldn't he?
Huh?
Yeah, he's a friend.
Sure, why not?
Between Anthony and Jackie, and I guess my adjacent status. But yeah, that was obviously a night where it's Jackie's in heaven.
Yes.
Because everyone he wants to take a picture with is in the same place.
Right.
He gets to live his dream.
So what was the point of? Was there a point to bring it up?
The Amy Rose thing?
Just that he was picking fights.
No,
so he went off.
He was picking fights.
She big timed him, and I guess he couldn't find her, and so he grabbed like her friend. What was the girl he cut the promo on out in the parking lot?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Camilla.
No, it wasn't
the heavy of Nick Aldis, the NWA World
No,
Champion.
it wasn't her. No, it wasn't her. It was someone else. It was a much smaller girl than her. I forget. I don't know who it was. But he's yelling at her about Amy big timing him and bringing up all that. How he gets like with the how good I've been to you, and he brings up a laundry list of everything he's ever done for you.
Right.
And so he was doing that, and because he wasn't doing it to one of us. When it's not to one of us, it's a blast to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you, me, Anthony, TK, I don't know, Jessica, I don't know who else, just watching him just blast this chick who has nothing to do with it except that she's, to quote you, a Jace. She's Amy Rose a Jace at that point, right?
Oh, my goodness.
And so then I don't remember that night if there was any other incidents other than the usual, just like you were staying with us, right?
Yes.
At that point, Anthony?
I don't know. We had our own hotel, I thought.
You might have. You flopped on a floor all night or two, but I don't know.
Was
when
Anthony in the room when we had the Kaepernick discussion with MVP?
No, that was like...
That was the next night.
That must have been the next night, Friday or Saturday.
When like ODB and
the
Katie
WrestleCon
Lee
guys,
and all those people were in there.
The WrestleCon guys, yeah, MVP. See, I was so blitzed that night. I don't remember. I remember who was in the room. I don't remember any conversations we had. There are also like some oddball fans in there that worked their way in.
Yeah, there's 2 fans somehow in Jackie's room.
Oh my God!
I have no idea how they got there, but it's not even like they were just like, "Hey, we're like you, just enjoying the wrestling, and we're here."
Yeah.
We're marks.
They must have just been around one of the other guys when they were told to come up, and they just followed. I don't know.
I don't know.
No one
I
said
mean, we're
anything.
talking like Katie Lee Burchill, ODB, MVP. Anthony sounds like he just hung up.
Uh-oh. Did he?
Yeah, he did. I'm going to call him back. But that's all right. We'll keep going.
It was ODB, Katie Lee, MVP, the 2 randoms. And was that it?
So, I think so. And us. All of us.
Right, all of us. So basically, I think this was Friday night. And we're in a situation where we're partaking in extracurricular activities, which I'm sure you can connect those dots.
Oh, yeah, I can.
MVP's involved.
Of course he is.
And somehow, some way, the discussion delves in to why is Colin Kaepernick not in the league.
Because it was fresh at that time.
But we're talking white Ben, white Blake, white Jackie, and MVP.
Jackie was at least half black.
But MVP is not just black. MVP waves the flag of everything for
absolutely
civil rights and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're now in a situation where not only are we not sober, but every single word we say, we have to
so calculated.
I mean, we have to
tiptoe,
it's like the current environment we're in.
Yeah.
You have to dance around people.
Blake, you could say any conversation I have on the road. Anytime I talk to somebody, I have to be like, "Oh shit."
But turn it up a few notches because there's no cameras. Like if he were to whoop my ass, it's not getting in the dirt sheets.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like whatever's said, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, especially at the time, because I've never personally been a Colin Kaepernick fan of his on-field play. Forget any other stuff. I'm talking about on the field. So at the time I was trying to say, this is not something that a lot of teams are looking to invest in. Just looking to invest in based on what you'd have to deal with, and to dance around that with MVP. I mean, that was probably the toughest thing I did all weekend, and we haven't even gotten to the official Abandonment Monday.
Right? Oh no, we're far from Monday, but we have to set up a thing, and again, like we said, all Thursday. All Friday, all Saturday, all Sunday, drinking.
Right.
So,
right?
I'm going to handle this. Hold on. The roommate left the dog out. You guys keep talking.
So we finally know who let the dogs out.
Oh, my goodness.
Anthony, are you there?
I'm back. He hung up on me, I think, and then
we just heard it. We heard a disconnect.
We just heard a disconnect. The phone went bloop, 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 and nobody was touching it, so we just figured you were like, fuck it. Which is okay. It's okay. The only person listening to this is Jackie.
Right. We got 4 listeners on a weekly basis,
and we don't even get a number for his listening.
But we know he's listening.
He's listening live. He's only live.
I'm actually surprised Blake even made it there. I was figuring Jackie would throw a tire blowout on the way in.
Don't jinx the way back.
Call it a favor.
There's nobody on the road. You're okay.
That's going to be my receipt for the way home.
So what I noticed, and I don't know if Anthony noticed this too, was that over the course of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that at times Jackie would be in a state of some kind of liquid compromisation, and he would mostly just target anything aggressive towards Blake, all weekend.
And we all probably have an idea.
We even called that. Well, we kind of called that out too. Ben, I think we had called it out day 2. Man, he's he was attacking you for everything.
Well, I think what it was you said something like that to me. And then I turned to you and said,
"Let's run with it."
No. I said, "Dude, don't jinx yourself. This is a blessing." It's
because you're not involved.
If you're not, it's anytime you can get away without being on the receiving end of it. It's a blessing in disguise.
True. We all know.
It's so true.
So I was like, I think I said to you, as long as he's pissing on Blake, he's not pissing on me.
Right. Because at some point leading up to that, he had been pissing on every one of us for a 2-week, 3-week period, and then he would switch to the next person.
Yeah.
We all got deleted. We all got blocked at some point.
Except Drew.
Oh well.
Except for Drew.
Right.
Probably because he was afraid of Drew.
Well, and Drew was in NXT.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's true. And
that's like your kryptonite with Jackie.
Yeah.
It's oh, you signed a contract. You're good.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
Now your opinion matters.
Right.
He's not going to show his ass
to
you.
Just for the record, that weekend, Jackie did Hall of Fame and Mania, or he didn't even go to Mania?
No, we didn't go to Mania. You
watched it in Jeff Jarrett's room?
No. I watched it in our hotel room, and Jackie kept going from Jeff Jarrett's room to our room back and forth, and every time he would leave, he would come back drunker. They were probably doing shots over there, And from what I hear, he was abusing the shit out of him. And
something happened in that room.
He tried to fight with Borash.
I was going to say there was a fallout with Jackie and Jeremy Borash.
No, that fallout had happened a long time ago.
No, but there was some sort of something there. Because if I'm not mistaken...
Well, he tries to bring up, I know you don't like me, but we're going to be cool because we're in the same room together. And he's kind of keeps trying to bring up the heat, but say there's no heat. And it just pisses people off when he's stumbling around drunk, spilling his drinks on you.
I feel like JB was on Keep It at 100. And like right after this.
Okay.
Like when we were on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And said something about that.
But do you remember what it was?
I don't remember, but I feel like something happened in that room. And also, just a sidebar.
And that room had like Jarrett, Animal, Borash,
Karen,
Jarrett. I'm not sure who else other than like Don, our friends like Donna. Her
Donna
friend
was in there.
Her friend Tracy, Kim, Animal's wife.
Kim Laurinaitis,
I think they were all in there too.
Yeah, it's funny. Also, sidebar. That's when the Hardys returned.
Yeah.
And left TNA, and they're all sitting there awkwardly watching it. That had to have been a sight.
I thought they had already left TNA. I thought
they had already left TNA.
Ring of Honor shit or something.
But they basically went from TNA to
that's
that.
true, right? But so, I know. Again, he almost had an issue with someone,
right?
Being drunk, and he was jumping back from their room to our room.
Because I was at Mania.
Yeah, you had a ticket,
right? So I wasn't even anywhere near him.
Yeah, I'd been to so many. I've been to like 8. I was like, I don't need a ticket. I'll watch this because like for me, like the live event once you've done it once or twice, it's cool.
Sure.
But I hate the coming and going of it. The long time you're there. You know, God forbid. Look, man. God forbid you have to take a shit and you've been in a stadium for 8 hours. I don't want to shit in a stadium toilet. I'm just thinking like. I think of these Costanza like Curb Your Enthusiasm scenarios because I've already done it. So now I only think of what bad things could happen that I've avoided.
So, funny little thing. So I'll show you guys for the visual, but for those of you who can't hear or see to hear, I had this little thing in my pocket. That
oh my God, is that the original one?
That looks like a pill case. Well, it is a pill case.
How long have you had that?
Years.
Oh, my God.
And I had been going around downtown Orlando. I was drinking, eating brunch, like a full-on breakfast club kind of day. And then I walked to the stadium, totally forgetting what's in my pocket.
Oh.
I walk up to the thing. And I
you got the frisk coming.
I just shit a brick. So I'm like, what do I do?
Do you know how many times I've done that at like Disney?
Do I hide it somewhere and come back and hope it's there after the show?
You got to keister it.
Yeah. Do I take the risk? What do I do here? So it met the front of my pants, and I dropped it right there in the front. It's not metal, so it didn't go off. They're not going to touch the front of my pants.
You would hope.
So I somehow got through with the contraband. But nonetheless, I mean, that was a scary moment. Added on to everything else going on.
Blake's not used to sneaking weed in places.
As Marco just paints it in black and white.
Listen, buddy, I've gotten Halloween Horror Nights. I've gotten Christmas.
I was going for the abstract colors. Marco just tells you exactly how it is.
I can't spell abstract, sir.
I flew to one Mania with like, I think 10 Mollies in my pocket. And they were just like loose. They weren't like, in your little change pocket up top. I forgot I had stuffed them there.
Ben was a drug mule.
Yeah, for myself.
Oh my goodness. So that was Thursday.
Well, see, I don't remember other incidents till we get till Sunday, but I just remember.
So this is the build up to Sunday.
If anyone else remembers, we definitely remember him getting the food delivered to the room.
Oh, I remember when you guys posted about that on the thread.
Well, before the food got delivered to the room, Anthony, you were there when we went to the diner.
Oh, yeah, that was...
With the police.
I was there for that.
The police officer.
The police. He's making a scene in the diner. There's 2 tables. There's us and police.
And we're kind of separated by... But not that far apart.
And he's just acting a fool.
And this was like 2 in the morning, right?
And Zane Riley's there, I believe.
Right, and he was calling them out. Like, he was like antagonizing them.
First trying to be friendly, but because they were kind of blowing him off, then
oh, what? It's like too cool for me?
Right. I'm like, no, you're so drunk you can't even talk. Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I remember Anthony and I sitting next to each other, looking at each other like, "Is this how it's going to go down?"
I mean, I remember that. I was there for that. Was it just us though?
Yeah.
It was TK. Zane Riley was there.
Yeah.
Was he there? Was he with us, or was he just kind of walked through?
He walked by and then came in.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's 2 in the morning, nothing else to do.
Right. And it was and I want to say, if I'm not, I have this weird recollection of there being a limited menu because it was so late and Jackie being pissed about it.
Yeah, they didn't have his usual 2 o'clock drunk chili
or whatever.
Decision.
Or whatever. I mean, if you remember Jackie, I mean, when he actually ate, it was weird.
Yeah.
He ate weird. So I don't remember what he ordered.
Well, what he ordered,
well,
the frequency of when he ate and how he ate was all weird.
And I don't think didn't Jessica order for him? Was she there?
I mean, without even being there, I could probably guess she did.
I don't think he didn't order.
I don't remember if she was there or not. I don't think she was.
No.
I don't think she was there because I feel like she would have gotten more angry.
But I do remember all weekend.
No, she was there.
Was she?
She was there, yes.
Okay.
Was like a DV there?
No.
Look at you. Now you're using code. I do remember all weekend.
I'm in the room. There's no need for code, guys.
Speaking of which,
because I'm going to break it.
I do remember all weekend her browbeating him to eat. Like he was drinking so much he wouldn't eat. And that she would keep just yelling at him to eat something. If you remember that.
Yeah, she ordered for him. I remember that. He wouldn't even order for himself. I don't even think he could order for himself.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have been cool if he just walked over and snatched one of the cops sandwiches and this is mine.
No, that wouldn't have been cool. He would have gone to jail for sure.
Yeah.
It's weird how he ends up almost going to jail all the time.
A lot.
A lot of the times almost to jail, but never quite enough.
And I've definitely caught on Time Hop over the last couple of days some videos of us filming him in the hotel.
Oh my goodness.
Where he's drunk and being a therapist.
Oh, when he's sitting in the bed with Danielle giving her boyfriend advice.
Yes, about John Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And we're sitting there and just and then when he catches us filming, no, and just
with the hand, no.
Listen, Jackie always had the most important things to say, guys.
So, I do remember. I think when was it? So when was those people came over? The wrestlers came over. What was that? Saturday night or Friday night?
You mean like MVP and all that?
Yeah.
I feel like that was Friday.
Yeah.
No, it was Friday because Thursday was the Wale. That was Friday. Saturday. You were there. You weren't there.
I was not.
It was when we all went to the bar.
Right, the big we spent 8 hours at the ale house.
Because
and people kept rotating in and out.
So what happened was the JB Cool Genius Idea of the Year decides to run 7 shows during WrestleMania weekend at the Downtown Rec Center.
Oh my God, I remember this all of a sudden.
So the first one on Saturday was going to be some sort of NWA FUW Dante Brown reunion.
Dante Brown.
I think it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, and I feel bad that it got canceled, I think it was the Jerry Briscoe Memorial something. It was something approved.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was something
that Jerry didn't even know was happening.
No, I think it was something legitimately approved. I remember it being I was oh, cool, I get to be a part of this. And I show up, and all the boys are hanging out in the parking lot. Show's going to be canceled. I'm okay. We're heading to the ale house. JB basically canceling the rest of the shows that day. Now, I'm interested at this point because Apollo, obviously Mexican wrestler Apollo, TNA stint back in the day, he's pissed and trying to hold up JB for money.
Right.
So part of me is damn, I gotta check this out for a little bit. Yeah. So I remember I hung out for 30 or 45 minutes. And then I drove over to the ale house. And when I drive over, it's like already going.
Yeah, I think Anthony and I had been walking WrestleCon.
Yes, you did.
And we hooked up with Jackie and ended up at the ale house, I think. And I don't know who organized the whole gathering of the whatevers at the ale house, but it had already started, but it hadn't really kicked in.
It was
gear
pretty
yet.
much anyone from the last like 10, 15 years worth a damn in the state of Florida.
Right. You had all the Bruce Santees and
Tarvers.
Wayne Van Dyke was there. I'm
Wayne
trying to
was
think
there.
of names.
450 was there.
A weird Garrett Bischoff was there.
Garrett Bischoff was there. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, most of the Florida, the Central Florida guys, most of those guys from the last, decade or so. You had obviously some random names. I remember I walked in, it's like Damian Sandow's there.
Eventually, Deborah showed up.
Deborah was there in the house, and of course,
Tori and
Candace Michelle. I
Yeah.
mean, that was what a treat that was. A few drinks in, and seeing them.
Yeah,
that was something. And to watch Jackie try to get over with them was great.
Right. Well, they know him.
Well, they know him.
Tori knows him.
Right, but Jackie is trying to work, and they're like, "Oh, it's the guy from WCW."
She probably just does that sigh, the eye roll. Here we go.
No, I'll give him credit. I think Tori knows him well through
and she's
Kidman.
also one of
Kidman.
one of the nicest people.
But through Kidman, I think they know him pretty damn well, and Penzer and that whole little circle.
The
and,
whole
and that
peanut butter
that hot dog,
surprise.
yeah. And Deborah knows him really well through Donna and us. So I mean, I'm not always going to diminish his.
Right,
whatever.
Right,
But,
of course.
But yeah, all I remember was Anthony and I got our chicken parm sandwiches at the ale house.
Yes. That was pre-keto days.
Now I did make an ale house appearance that weekend, a different one though. I went to the TNA ale house, and
By the DoubleTree.
all the TNA guys were there.
Yeah.
I went. It was after I think it was the. It was one of the Thursday Friday shows. I met up with what's his name? The Jackie's friend down here. I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. With the wife and the kids.
Yeah, that really narrows it
Ricky
down.
Rash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Ricky. Yeah.
Yeah, we met up with Ricky, and because remember Jessica was there, and we read with Ricky, and then I walk in, and then across the bar, Chase Stevens is like, "Yo," and then and Brian Hebner.
Right.
So I go see them. Earl's there. James Storm is there. It felt like it was like the mid 2000s in TNA. Like it was all those kind of people. And Howard Brody's calling me right now. Hey, should I answer? Should I answer?
Oh, please.
No,
please
don't. We don't need that.
No. But how funny would it be if he
No.
doesn't know that he's on the air?
We'll never hear the end of it.
Oh, he'll never get this deep in the podcast.
Blake, he'll be told. He'll listen, and you'll never.
Who's
going to
tell him? Anthony?
Probably.
No, because Ben will put it in the headline. Howard Brody.
Okay, Ben will do that.
Ben will tag him.
Or he'll tag him.
I wasn't planning on stirring the. If I want to stir the pot, I'll just send him another picture of my balls.
Hey, we're in the house that the balls built.
Yeah,
That's true. We will broach that discussion another day.
That needs to be brought up.
That does.
So, the Saturday at the Ale House was epic. I mean, we were essentially by 1, 2 o'clock, all wasted,
Totally day drunk.
totally day drunk, hot Orlando day. All pissed. Were like, well, I'm lucky. I didn't lose money. I got paid for the weekend, but a lot of guys probably losing money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you're lucky you didn't get arrested. That's a whole nother story too.
That's very true. I'm lucky I didn't get arrested.
Oh, you had, was this the Watts stuff?
Kelly Watts.
Mm.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what was going on there.
Wait, what? Am
Yeah,
I
me
missing
either.
something?
3 years later, I'm still trying to figure it out. So you know who Kelly Watts is?
He doesn't know.
She's like in the Valente Jensen
Okay, that's right.
rat mix.
All right, 10-4.
So
He just threw them all under the
listen,
It is what it is. They know.
we all love them, but they are what they are.
We're all adults. Let's just move on.
And so she was there well before I got there, and she was wasted. So I walk in. I'm sober. Like, I don't think I even had an inkling of a thing. I walk in, and she points at me and looks at me and goes, "You know exactly what you did."
She did. That's exactly what she said.
I remember that.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then she starts like cutting a promo on me. She starts like kind of getting in my face, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I don't like.
First thing
we've always been cool.
Yeah.
Like, there was never like honestly, she was trying to hang out for sure, but she was talking to this like huge black guy that was gonna like eat my lunch. So I didn't do it.
Right.
That juice was not worth that squeeze.
10-4, brother.
So I never went there. But it was like, I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm like looking around. I'm like, can someone help me?
I'm thinking when she said that doesn't narrow it down at all. You know what you did.
Yeah, I'm like, can someone help me here? Does anyone remember?
Context, anything?
Like, was this me?
Is there a clue board?
Yeah, something.
Is this where we cue the
video
the
back.
video of what happened?
Yeah, we point to the Titantron.
We need a flashback.
She came in from outside and like made a beeline right for you. Like whatever happened outside, she thought it was you.
Right.
She came right for you.
I honestly, to this day, I still feel like something went down, and she somehow thought whatever it was me. It was someone else, but it was me.
You got a doppelganger out there that's out to get you.
I mean, it could have. For all I know, it was Mitch Mitchell or something.
Right.
But it got intense.
Well, because what happened was she kept it going, and I started drinking.
Uh-oh.
And then I got like Bruce and the boys around me, so I'm like doing the Flair shit. Like, you know,
Blake got a little bit of that.
And I'm starting to
like
feed off
courage.
of it. I'm starting to feed off of it. I go outside, I smoke this massive blunt with 450 and Mitch in the parking lot. I don't know. Still to this day, I don't know how like we just sat there and got away with it, even though it was only 3 years ago. And I go back inside. I just remember like she was gonna call the police.
Yeah.
And if she called the police, regardless if I do anything or not,
you're now high, drunk.
There's a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're taking me away.
Yeah.
Right.
At least temporarily.
Oh.
Don't worry, I would have filmed it horizontally.
I know you would have.
Hey, listen, if you were going to get arrested for that, you should have just kicked her in the camel toe just to have a reason for it.
But I remember even Tarver was like holding me back. I was like, geez, like the freaking strong man is holding me back over here. Like this can't be good. But yeah, that was.
Tarver was trying to be like a peacemaker, though.
Right. Well, I think Tarver hates her too.
Right. Because he hung out there the whole day too.
That was such a fun day.
That was a great day.
That was.
Bruce had like a couple fours with him.
Yeah, as usual.
Right.
Well, if you combine them, you got a 12.
Right.
He trails them like those little fish that follow a shark around.
Bruce, we all love Bruce, and like I'd say this to his face because like, what's he gonna do? Just like, well, he probably would just kill me, but no, he wouldn't kill me. But
he'd kill you with love.
Bruce wheelhouse is a place like the Ale House.
Yes.
Filled with 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Yes. And
All
him
day.
and him lit up.
Yeah.
And just no fear to fuck with anybody.
Like if you had to pick the ideal Bruce Santee situation, 2:00 on a Sunday at the Ale House in football season.
Yeah.
I mean, just flanked by 4s, 5s, and 6s.
When Tampa's an away game.
When Tampa's, or in his case, when he goes after halftime.
Right.
Listen, he's going to really love that Tom Brady acquisition in a few months.
He's got to be jonesing now that there's no bars to
Now, if I'm
operate
on the Bruce side of things here, I'm looking at it from this angle. TB12 is going to pull in some high class.
That's it right there, sir. Right there. There's going to be some 2 good years coming.
You're going to see
2 good years.
The 7s, 8s, 9s, and maybe even the 10s come out from Tampa.
And Bruce is going to love those days. Unless he's in a relationship committed right now, in which case
I don't think that exists for him.
Well, that wouldn't matter.
Well, committed.
I didn't want to speak out of turn.
Committed to him still is open.
Right.
I didn't want to speak out of turn because I don't know.
So but yeah, I mean that's gonna be fun for him.
Yeah.
That was a great day, but Jackie was in rare form that day too.
Day drinking Jackie in the heat.
Yeah.
I still to this
There's
day,
a lot of there's a
then-
lot of needing a chair to sit down.
Right.
And
then
still
but
plop
from
himself in
there,
the middle
Now
of
correct
stuff.
me if I'm wrong. It was you, Proskurin and him went to the Hall of Fame?
I didn't go to any of the stuff.
But the hotel at least, though. Because y'all got dressed up, I think, Saturday night. Because I remember not having anything. I remember getting like dinner with Jessica or something.
Oh, you mean going to the WWE hotel?
Well, because I remember.
Yeah. I remember
being wasted, going back to the hotel, maybe even napping, and then waking up and getting food on iDrive.
I got a great story there. So we went to the Mania Hotel, and it was Jackie, me, and Jason. And, we dressed nice because they were all coming back from the Hall of Fame, and everyone was going to be, you didn't want to look out of place. And we met some of our other friends that were staying there, like Kayla, that I think Anthony met. And
I believe I met her, too.
And Ollie. Remember Ollie, the British kid that got on the...
UK Jackie.
He got on the news for always sneaking down to the UFC events, and then eventually got banned from the UFC because it made the news that he was sneaking down and getting pictures with all the celebrities and stuff. So Ollie, I'm talking to him. I've known him forever. He's telling me about this new tattoo he got of Conor McGregor.
Oh, my goodness. And this was back when Conor was like his height.
Yeah, and so I go, I need to see it. He goes, oh, it's on my thigh. So we go outside, and he pulls his pants down to his ankles out by the pool area, which is just off of the lobby bar of the big hotel. We come back in after he shows, like, it's such a bizarre scene. We're going outside to I'm secretly having this guy pull his pants down for me to go look down near his thigh. And so we come back in, and literally within like 5 minutes, hotel security comes up to him and says, "You have to leave." I guess he'd been acting a little rowdy before that, and they'd been keeping their eye on him. But that was the last straw when he's taking his pants off, right by the lobby bar. Yeah. So that night was just drinking at the bar and hanging out. And Jackie doing his, like, schmoozing and photo thing. It was fun.
Didn't he have some stumbles at the hotel that night?
He took a bump?
Not that night. That was Mania night. He face planted.
Like, I'm almost thinking he took the bump out on me.
He was stumbling. Like, those girls.
It wasn't Xavier Woods involved?
Hold on.
Or Kofi.
Yeah. Those girls, when we were way back at the Houston or Arizona Mania, gave him the nickname Stumbles.
Wow.
Like a bad Dick Tracy villain.
So
wow. Stumbles Johnson.
So yeah, so he was
that sounds like a 30s baseball player.
It does. It really
Stumbles
does.
Johnson.
Like Mumbles. It could be Stumbles could be like a low-level mafia guy.
You got that 1929 Stumbles Johnson card. It's worth $1,500.
Yeah, it is a good one. So he did his fair share of stumbling that night, but Sunday he in the middle, how that was laid out, where you come in the main entrance, and if you do if you shoot straight, there's a cross area where you can go left or right, and it's all marble floor, and left or right goes to like the elevators and the rooms and the other stuff. But if you keep going straight, it's the lobby bar. So in that intersection between the lobby bar, the two paths you can go left or right, and the entrance, there's this big open area.
That sounds like the Marty Jannetty danger zone.
And literally right does. In that splash,
or where Virgil would sell El-Paytins.
Right in that splash zone, I'm trailing him because I'm like babysitting him, but I don't want to be too close to him. I'm like 7 paces behind him. He does a flare faceplant bump right on the marble floor.
Oh, Jesus.
Boom. Because he's stumbling around. He plants dead center in like in the main area. And like there's literally like Kofi and like 6 or 7 guys standing right there hanging out, and they rush over. And Jackie, without missing a beat, pops up and says, "These damn shoes my wife makes me wear, they're so slippery."
In the midst of everything, Jessica still gets the heat.
She gets the heat. But I mean, he didn't miss a beat. It's like almost like he was just prepared with it.
He knew. He's got any time he had 10 or 12 presets.
I don't know. He's quick on the draw. Yeah. For all the drinking he does, that guy's got a like cage tight memory. Like, and so I think he could. He could think on his feet when he needs to. I can't remember shit, and I don't even drink all the time. But yeah, he face painted that night. So let's just fast forward because Saturday I think we just had a good time, and then I feel like Saturday night was the big like WrestleCon blow off night, right?
See, I don't think I did much Saturday night.
I think people were already leaving
because I remember getting wasted Saturday afternoon, and then I remember eating some sort of sushi or something on iDrive.
That's why we went to the Mania Hotel. There was nothing else going on.
Some sort of sushi on iDrive, and you survived.
Because we were staying at the WrestleCon Hotel, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and then you just walk down that hallway.
Yeah,
right. Which me and Anthony had a fun time walking through that convention that day.
I definitely ran into tons of people.
Yeah.
Virgil, we stared at Virgil for like 20 minutes.
We stared at Virgil. We were afraid to get too close. We ran into Brown Sugar Nuts.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
So that was Mania Sunday.
He spotted me.
Wait, in the hotel?
No, he recognized me at the convention.
At the con.
BSN.
Yeah. Okay, because I remember Sunday, because I went with my one of my good friends, my college roommate. I went with him and a couple other guys. We were in downtown Orlando getting brunch and hanging out, like pre-gaming before we went to the stadium. And all the boys went to some place in Orlando because I remember Bruce going there, and like from as far as I am to you, which is about 7-8 feet, making fun.
No, tin roof. The tin roof
of Jimmy Havoc.
We went to
Bruce is railing on Jimmy Havoc.
That's where
Rob Naylor, and BSN.
That's where we went. That's where I bumped into Jude. I went. It was Jensen. It was Bruce. It was Jackie, and I guess Jessica.
Right, probably.
And it was day drinking again. Right. And Bruce was shouting across the bar, calling Rob Naylor a twink.
And Jimmy Havoc.
And Jimmy Havoc was at a table with some other, I guess, indie wrestlers, and he was just shitting all over all of them for the way they looked and blah blah blah. And,
right.
You know, those aren't wrestlers and yada yada. And Bruce, loud and proud, doesn't care if you hear.
Not at all.
would actually call you out like Naylor. We kept yelling his name and go, "Why are you such a twink, you twink?" And Jackie's doing like, I'm sorry. You know what?
Right.
The mouthing and the shrugging.
Because they got the Norman connection.
Yeah.
So he's obviously freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was. If we want to get into some real stuff, that was during the time period where we had to get 450's gear because he had the breakup with his girl.
Which girl?
Yeah, which one?
I think the one.
No. Are we still involving Valente here?
No. That
Lindsay Snow.
This is post Valente. This was
that all went down that weekend.
Oh, the tattooed one.
That all went down.
What's her name? That's with
Lindsay Snow.
That's with yes.
That all went down in the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's why he bunked with us Sunday night. And Anthony and TK move out, and immediately
So Anthony deciding to leave early
missed everything.
Opens the door for 450 to stay in our room.
450 and
Machiko-san.
Yeah. It's funny, Jackie badmouthed all of us afterwards because I sent her a friend request and she just blew it off.
That's funny.
Yeah. But we'll get to that in a minute. So,
I've worked multiple shows with her since then.
Yeah.
And it's like.
You ever bring it up?
No.
I think you should.
But it's one of these things where it's like, I don't think she wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I think.
They probably were uncomfortable,
Well, because her and Jessica, I know, were friends, like, after it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, when obviously Jackie passed away, she acted, like, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So I forgot all about that day drinking on, I guess that was Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. Because Sunday, none of us had shows.
Right. Well, because everything, like, by 2 o'clock, everyone's off to Mania, pretty much.
There was, I did walk. I was walking through downtown. We got brunch. And they had something WWN related was going on downtown. That's where they had the Hardys, like, tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, they were with Ring of Honor.
For that very short time.
Or they weren't signed. So they did the tailgate thing, but then they got out of there quickly to go to the show.
Right.
But that was in the same spot.
But they didn't appear. But that's smart. You do an appearance to throw people off.
But that was in the same spot where we ran the vintage show years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like right there in the same area. Yeah. So there was that, but that's the only thing I think was going on.
Yeah. So let's just go to Sunday. So Anthony, when did you leave?
I left Sunday because we got back home in time to watch it in South Carolina.
So did you?
Oh, how far is that drive?
I don't know. Maybe it was 6 to 8 hours. I don't know, something like that.
Did you have any other? Did you have any other things you remember before you left? Like any other?
We didn't talk about when he got the food in the hotel room.
Yes.
That whole scene was the most ridiculous thing.
Where
I've
he's
ever
sitting
seen.
there cross-legged.
Yeah,
The chicken fingers.
Indians, right?
Yeah,
right.
the chicken.
He was kind of
fingers.
bouncing like an excited.
No, I mean we're talking
child.
like a 6-year-old. Like he is like that. It's almost like Richie Rich.
They wheeled the table full of food up to him.
But he made her wheel it all the way up to him, not just in the room, like literally up to him.
I've heard this story so many times.
Well, we have footage of it too. I think we've.
There was footage. Absolutely footage.
Yeah, there's footage. How do you not get footage of Jackie when he?
Because
when
he does the no, and waves his hand at you. No.
I still have footage of him singing something badly in karaoke.
Yeah. So yeah, he what else? What else happened with that? Didn't he got an argument with her over the food too, like paying for it or something?
Right. He was like rude to the lady, and it was just such a mess. There was beer bottles everywhere. He was sitting in the chair like Indian style, like a 4-year-old.
You know, I was just thinking about this while we've been telling all these stories, and obviously you have the Jackie Johnson Bud Light can in the fridge as we speak. So he's kind of in the room with us as well. But like,
oh, wow.
Maybe for like Abandonment Monday, we should all like try to finish a 12-pack of Bud Light and then have the podcast. Yeah, like in his memory, we could give ourselves like some
maybe
kind
next
of,
year,
some kind of like alcohol poisoning if there's any alcohol in Bud Light.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe. So a little sidebar right here. Remember that guy? You remember the Saints kicker that had the longest kick ever, Tom Dempsey?
Yeah, he died today.
Yeah, with the foot.
From coronavirus.
Like missing.
From coronavirus.
It's crazy, I know.
He had like the special shoe, right?
Yeah.
Dempsey, right?
Tom Dempsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's funny, like you read about him in like your school book.
Well, he was like the one guy from the Saints that was decent.
Yeah.
It's true.
And he had half a foot.
But anyway, so Sunday I was at the show. I went. I didn't get back to the room until probably 1:30 in the morning. I mean, this was one of the first Manias. This might have been the first one that was over at midnight.
Right. It's just running so long.
Because it was Taker.
Right.
And you thought he was done.
Oh, that's right.
Well, and here's the other thing, is that East Coast ones are harder to manage than West Coast ones.
Right.
Because like West Coast, you're done at like 7.
Right.
And then
right,
it's
right.
party until like 2 or 4 in the morning.
True.
These, you're done at like midnight, 1 o'clock. By the time you get back, change and head out to party.
It's 2, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and the bar's only open till 4, maybe.
You're looking at really. I mean, if you're
in New York,
if you're employed by the WWE, you're looking at maybe having a drink or two at the party. And
Even if that, because there's just a quick
It ran-
turnaround to Raw.
I'll
the
be
next
honest
day.
with you, it ran long. They had when we went over there, we still were there for hours and hours.
and that was after the show.
Yeah, but we headed over again because we didn't go to the show.
Right.
We headed over right as the show ended. It wasn't like coming back from the stadium.
Now, when you get
washing
there,
your balls off in the sink, changing your clothes, then heading back out again.
Now, when you get there, let's say you get there around the time the show ends. Let's say you get there at midnight.
Yeah.
Are like the Zack Ryders there?
Yeah, there's tons of people. There are people that came early.
So
got there. That left Mania early.
So there's guys on the card.
Yes.
That shower, change, dress, and then leave the venue before the show's over.
I believe there were some. I think there were some, but they may have been like not main card guys. It may have been like the pre-show stuff.
Right.
I can't swear to it. But
I'm just thinking like
it's hard to tell.
I'm just thinking if you're in the business anyway.
Politics of it. Yeah.
Well, not even just that. Like Taker's on last and you're leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You know.
It may have. I may be confusing it because they have so many people there over the weekend. It could have been Hall of Fame people. It could have been NXT people. It
Right.
could have been.
It could have been like your Hogans.
It could have been people that didn't work Mania and weren't brought to Mania, like to the building, but had worked like Access.
Okay.
I can't remember. But there were tons of people there already.
Right. Like
Yeah.
people you knew who they were,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
didn't necessarily have a role.
And so we didn't need a gimmick to get in. I didn't need my bracelets or anything. But I'll tell you this before we have to backtrack. But before we backtrack, because I just thought of it, was remember Bruce Owens had scanned the
The Reyeses.
The Reyeses, the little CM Punk family. And somehow had like, I don't know if he had sold them or whatever, but like they were arguing with security about how Bruce Owens had told them they could go to the after party or something.
I'm laughing inside right now at the Reyes family thinking Bruce Owens has any pull whatsoever.
Right. And
I love Bruce so much.
And so he worked them hard. He must have. But what the funny part was is that like they were dressed like they had just come from a day at Disney. You know what I mean? Not like you have to dress like you belong, you know. Otherwise, and of course, because it was Bruce bullshitting them for a few bucks, probably that
there's not enough clothing in the world made to make them look like they belong.
There was no heads up for that, you know. There was no. So of course they weren't going to let them into the after party.
Man, all these blasts from the past. I forgot.
But they were standing there off to the side, and you have to walk by them every time you.
That's fantastic.
And so they were.
They see you.
Yeah.
So they're like,
and
well,
Jack,
if he's here.
No, they don't. They don't.
No, but I bet you internally,
maybe
they're probably like, well, if they're here, why can't we be here?
Jackie, you know, me and Jackie. But I was babysitting Jackie. I wasn't even enjoying myself that night.
You were on call. You were working.
So during Mania, like we said, he was popping back and forth between our room, grabbing beers, and going back over there and probably doing shots. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know how much of a shot guy he is. By the time the show was over and he wanted to go over to the hotel where, you know, the WWE hotel, he was already fucking ripped. And so we get an Uber to go over there. And, of course, he's got to take 2 beers with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally drove over there. And by the time he was finished with his second beer, we were literally stepping out the car.
Ready for the third
going
one
in
the bar.
To go head over to the lobby bar to kick it for a little while before we went to the after party.
Right.
Because you don't want to be the first ones in there and look out of place.
He was so good at timing that.
Yeah.
He was always just finishing.
Because even if you've got a wristband from someone to get in, like an official wristband, you still don't want to put them on the spot if you're, you know. So once there's a little crowd in there, it's different. Besides, you want to go there. The food is great, open bar. I mean, even if you're not like rubbing elbows with anyone or anything like that, it's a fully catered event. Might as well take advantage of that. I did. But at that point, our friend Kayla, at one point Jackie's just so drunk and she just turns to me and goes, I don't want him around me. You got to keep him away from me, you know. And so he got to a point at the after party where I literally had to take him out of the room. And it was a long hallway where you walk from the lobby area down a stretch, bend a right, and then it was down a stretch to like the ballroom. So down one of those stretches, I told him to sit the fuck down. And so he's still drinking because I couldn't stop him from getting drinks. And he was sitting because he couldn't physically stand. A, because he's got like all these gout issues, but also he has no balance left. He's going to fall over. He did the face plant earlier. So I go, sit down. So then anytime someone would walk by that he knew or he wanted a picture with or et cetera, he would try and get out of the chair and stumble over there. And you would just see on their faces, like, oh, my God, this guy is fucking blitzed.
Jackie's got to keep that face up, though.
So there's those glances to each other, you know, if they're walking as a group or whatever. And then they're looking at me, and I kind of like smile and shrug because I'm like his official photographer handler.
You're basically his service animal.
Yeah.
You're just there to keep him from dying.
I'm there for 2 reasons. One, so that I can't keep him from making an ass out of himself because he will walk over and talk to people.
Yeah.
But I can't just encourage him to sit down in between.
No.
So he's not like stumbling around and breaking things, and because he was going to break tables or things on tables or you know he was going to fall and put an arm through drywall or you know something
like a drunk 6-year-old
or hurt himself because he'd already face planted once. So I'm just literally trying to mitigate the wake of destruction,
the path of Hurricane Jackie.
but I'm also trying not to piss him off because if I bail on him or I get a little too aggressive with him, then it's going to turn all that on me.
Then you're the worst person that ever lived.
Right. So I'm in that fine line. So, sometime, Blake, as he's on his phone,
I'm listening.
I know. During this whole thing, may have even
I
been...
just matched with a girl in my building.
May... Oh, my God.
I'm marking out.
So, sometime, and it may have been as early as us driving...
By the way, thanks, Corona, for making me go back.
Blake is so proud.
So, sometime, and it may have been even before, I think it was even before we left our hotel to go to that hotel. So hours and hours, 4 or 5 hours before, he's already talking about the fight he's going to get into with you Sunday morning, because he's like, Blake's going to want to get on the road early, and I want to sleep in, and I'm going to get in a big thing with him about it.
So what you're saying is this was premeditated.
It was It was. I told you this.
He's a madman.
It was absolutely premeditated. He's mumbling, and for the next couple hours when we're getting an Uber there and back.
Imagine if Ben dropped this info publicly years ago.
We didn't have the right outlet. I didn't want to go on 100 with Conan. I didn't want to have to talk with Disco and
Anthony did.
Seemed cooperative. Anthony did.
Oh, boy, did I get the heat there.
Well, we'll get to that. But so he's been planning for at least the night, if not the whole day, beforehand, how he's going to get in it with you over leaving time tomorrow. So
now, okay, before you continue, for the record, that next Monday, opening fucking day.
Right.
Major League Baseball, opening day. You got Monday Night Raw that night. You got the national championship for college basketball. I'm not trying to be on the fucking road all day.
Right.
It's like literally your job to know these things and watch these things.
Well, but not even
beyond
that.
being a giant fan.
But not even that. I don't even think it was the work thing or whatever. I was trying to just be on the road, but I wanted to watch the Mets game.
Yeah.
I was like, it started at 1 o'clock, I think. I was trying to get on the road like 9:30 or something.
Just a reasonable.
And now I know 9:30 is not late.
No.
But it's not like super early.
No.
It's a little early if you've been out till 5 in the morning.
If you've been correct.
Kind of like my roommate situation.
Well, it's like 9:30, like usually like 10:30 is usually a sweet spot. After like a long weekend like that, you're like, hey man, 10:30, like gives you time to wake up, really just kind of like do your thing. And
right.
9:30 is a little early, but then again, opening day,
right?
A lot's going on.
Trying to get back.
Yeah. But to put it in,
from my perspective, this is the Mets' first game after the World Series.
Right.
So I'm all jacked for it.
But But I want to put it in perspective another way. You can't be cutting grass outside my window at 7 in the morning. But at 10 in the morning, I can't yell at you for doing it.
Correct.
There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
So he was plotting to get me.
He's been, like, literally, it's whenever there's downtime in conversation, he goes back to talking about this confrontation you're going to have. Because Blake wants to get on the road, and he's got all this blah, blah, blah. And then it gets...
I'm sorry the Marlins suck.
But then, hold on. But then it's also not only just about what your issue is, but then it's denigrating you for all these other things, like, oh, and he doesn't even like, you know how he used to get into his and then like judge you compared to him. He's got a roommate and he doesn't have his this job and blah blah blah, and he doesn't have he's not in a relationship. It's like I'm like thinking, what does any of this have to have?
Those screenshots pop up occasionally.
So he's planning this, and I'm like, oh my god, this is good. First, two things. I'm like thinking, poor fucking Blake, but also like, I can't wait to see this.
That's a fair. that's a fair feeling.
It's fair though. I mean, especially since we love to. I mean, come on, we bust each other's balls all the time.
Of course,
it's going to be hilarious.
And as we've covered earlier, whenever Jackie was on someone else that wasn't you, you enjoyed the shit out of it because again, it wasn't you.
And it was entertaining.
It was always entertaining. As long as again wasn't you.
Right. So we get back, and he's talking about. Before we even get back, he's talking about telling me in the car in the Uber heading back, like how he's not going to go to sleep. He's just going to stay up until like, I guess he thought you said you wanted to get up at 7 and go. May or may not be true. You're shaking your head like it is.
I mean, I wouldn't want to leave. There's like, because if I left at 7, that puts me back at around 10.
Right.
What the hell do I need to get back at 10 for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Only a psychopath would make that drive.
We're making sober and logical thoughts here.
Right.
This is not what we've been dealing with all weekend. So he, again, didn't stop drinking. Had to-go beers in the Uber. I don't know where he even came up with them because I was trying to discourage him from buying them places, and the lobby bar was closed. But all of a sudden, he's just bumped into someone that had beers, has 2 more. He literally never did have beers because he then drank those 2 on the Uber back while he's talking about what he's going to handle you. And then when we get to the room, he's still got beers in the cooler.
I feel as if Jackie had like a superpower where he could just pull Bud Lights from thin air when he really needed to.
Yeah.
Like he could just call upon that dark energy. Because he did it all the time,
like
too.
a bottomless pocket, refrigerated pocket.
Hey, it's just like another one in the pocket.
Because we would be like downtown or something, and he would have a Bud Light in his hand, and we're just like, Jackie, where the fuck did you get that?
So we're heading back to the room, and he's talking about, and his plan is he's now, because it's like 5:30. He's like, I'm just gonna stay up for 2 hours, and at 7, I'll give him a half hour. At 7:30, I'm just gonna be like, like waking him up and like, all right, let's go, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like thinking, this is not going to be good.
That would have been awful.
But at the same time, I'm like hoping when I lay down to go to sleep that he's just going to pass out because he's drank so much.
And you're also hoping you don't pass out and miss it.
I'm not drunk. I'll fall asleep, but I won't pass out.
That's what I'm saying, but like, you might be real tired and go to sleep and miss the whole thing.
No, I would wake up. It would wake you up. It woke me up.
Likely.
It woke me up.
Right.
I went to sleep for 2 hours. I wasn't going to wait with him. But so he gets back to the room with me. And, of course, everyone's passed out. It's lights out. I don't know if he turned on the lights and was rude or obnoxious. I don't know if he could find them in his condition. Or how I guess he got into bed. He didn't even get into bed. He was like doing stuff on his computer or something.
Well, all I know is
he was being noisy.
We were in the same bed together.
Oh, you two were sharing a bed?
I think,
or was
I think
Jessica
it
with
might
there
have been
too?
3 of us.
Oh my God! All right, we're all gonna.
It's a hell of a sandwich there, Blake. It's a hell of a sandwich.
Who was in the middle?
Sandwich that was never made, Marco.
But it depends on who you talk to, Blake.
I think I was in the middle because I remember him being on the side. Well, no, because here's the thing. She had to have been there because the other bed was Machiko and 450.
Yeah, and I like pushed the 2 chairs together.
You
and
did
slept in
something
that.
else, and then there was no one else in the room.
You were
no
both
one else.
spoons.
Listen.
Both spoons.
We don't need to get into that right now. But
I know, but we're here now.
That's definitely a down the road thing.
that's
we'll
listen.
put a pin in this.
Now that's a podcast I want to get paid for.
I don't. That's fair.
That's a shoot interview.
That's a Patreon podcast.
Find me on Patron.
Patron. So here's the thing. I don't remember when we left. I don't remember if 450 and Machiko were even set up there, or if that was a discovery for me later. I think they were set up there.
I don't remember
because that would have been a Jackie.
I don't really remember going to bed with them there.
That was a Jackie situation, though. Maybe they.
That's all fallout from the Lindsay Snows thing.
Yeah, but I mean, but he arranged for them to stay there. I don't see all that's a blur, but all I do remember is that they were there in the morning.
Correct.
And I do remember that that at some point he started to roust you out of your slumber.
Well, he basically.
What time was that? Ish.
Now, if I recall correctly, I had an alarm set for somewhere between like 8:15 and 8:30.
Right.
And that was just to wake me up and give me like an hour or so to like lay around.
No, we all do it.
Take a piss, watch your face.
and then like collectively like do like the Nicolas Cage and Gone in 60 Seconds where you're like, let's go. It's like, you want to do that. So I'm sitting there, and this was maybe because the alarm went off in the middle of the fracas.
Right.
So
yeah, he'd already been
like
knee deep in this.
So it was maybe 7:45, 8. It was right before. It was like to the point where like my alarm was close to coming anyway. And then I just specifically remember him shaking me and be like, "Come on, bro, gotta get up, gotta get on the road, gotta get going, let's go."
You know what's and it's just a complete sidebar. All this because I wasn't there for any of this. Finding all this out as it was happening on the thread was fantastic.
So who's keeping you up to date? Ben, obviously.
Yeah,
had to have been Ben because Anthony's not there.
And I'm starting.
I wasn't there,
and I also have.
I wasn't texting. Shit.
I also pieced it all together as it was happening because like things would come off and I'm like, well, this makes sense. That's something Jackie would say. Okay.
Well,
Blake's rightfully upset about
in a
this.
however you say that, when you make fun of yourself.
Self-deprecation?
Deprecation moment. Was that a year where I had a working phone? Was I updating?
It could have been.
Okay. If I was giving
updates. Ben had to have been given updates.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
Because there's no... Put it this way. If you found out anything...
And it was working because I filmed some things.
Yeah.
That might have been GoPro.
If you found out anything before Ben got back to where we are sitting right now, then it was from Ben.
But what was from Ben?
Because I don't think there's any way
no.
that I was texting.
But as it was happening, I wasn't getting a whole lot of information. It was just like, hey... Like, oh yeah, Blake and Jackie's going after Blake, and he's like, for what? And you're like, like an hour later, you're like, oh, here we go.
I think I was telling Thread because I was giving Anthony updates too.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because it had to be because we knew as it was happening. Yeah, like how he.
But it was.
I was doing real time reporting.
But it was just enough context to kind of piece it together, knowing that we know Jackie so well.
Right.
Going like, oh, okay, so Jackie's going crazy right now, and Blake's just trying to keep.
And
it going.
Anthony's like, oh, I've seen this coming all.
We saw it from day one.
Yeah, see, that's it's one of these things where I felt it. I'm like, he's being ridiculous this weekend.
Yeah.
But you guys, I mean, you saw it first.
You see the storm clouds rolling in Thursday, and you're just wondering
right.
when it hits on Sunday.
Right. I mean, you guys. This is Monday morning.
And Blake keeps waiting for the hurricane to turn, and it never did.
No. I'm doing like
you're in the cone the whole time.
Yeah, I'm in the cone. No, it's making landfall right in my face. So he starts violently shaking me like, get up, we gotta go, let's go, hit the road. It's time to go. This is when you wanted to leave.
And we're all trying to sleep.
Like literally, no one is doing anything at this point. Like he's just starting to start, and
he may have been all packed and ready to go.
Now, I will say, I mean, obviously,
he already had his morning buzz going.
Well, you've seen.
No, that was his Thursday buzz. Continue.
You've seen a little bit of a trigger before. I mean, you can go back to. I mean, we're approaching the 5-year anniversary of the Blakedown.
Mm-hmm. That's another podcast. I'm making a note right now to talk about that.
A couple of weeks away. We're a couple of weeks away from the Blakedown. So one thing that I will say definitively that absolutely triggers me is waking me up violently out of my sleep. Like it's before I'm trying to wake up.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
and no one's dying. Nothing's on fire.
It's not going to sit well.
Yeah.
I've cut promos on women for it. And I almost fought our friend for it. So he's doing that, and so then I freak out, pissed off. I pop up, and now I'm basically at the foot of the bed, facing him in the middle of the bed. Now the funny part here is I'm ready to go. Jackie is sitting in the bed like Vince McMahon after blowing both quads. He's sitting in the bed, legs straight out, under the covers, looking like a helpless little boy.
Oh my god!
What? Going back and forth with me.
He probably can't understand why you're mad at him.
I'm pretty sure he threw a pretty heavy Jew type reference in there.
Oh, he definitely did. I remember that. That perk made my ears twitch.
Yeah, it was one of these I did the blinking face gif. I was like what? And then 450 already dealing with a weekend of his own after committing a little DV, and I don't mean Danielle Valente. and in the middle of a cycle, I'm sure, pops out of bed, gets in my face, and says, if you don't shut the fuck up right now, I'm going to knock you out. And I'm kind of wait a second.
What's happening?
What about your boy?
Yeah.
Over here. So we're going back and forth. Jessica has the look of death on her face.
I think when you're getting a free room for the night, you don't get to make any demands.
I'm sorry you got woken up to 450. My bad. I didn't mean for that to happen. But Chico's just, kind of watching.
He should have just been happy he woke up in not prison.
Chico's just watching.
Yeah, I mean, you're just stuck. You can't sneak out of the room, and you're trying not to be involved, and you're also feeling super awkward that this is.
And Jessica's,
She's trying to calm everything down.
She's stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, but she's trying to like.
She's trying.
Yeah.
And now this is where I'm going to need your help. I can't remember what the definitive shoe that dropped where I was like, all right, I'm leaving. Where I was like, I'm leaving you.
Well, I don't know what your trigger moment was either.
No, but there was something where it was like, no, but something I think where it's like he just kept going. There was something where I was like, if you don't stop, like I'm.
Well, he just kept getting personal and personal and personal.
But I feel like he said something.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
But I don't know if it was a religious thing or I don't remember what. But it was something that was like.
I mean, it's not like
a little too low of a blow.
Just over the line enough that had it been anybody else, you'd have knocked him the fuck out.
Well, it was one of these things where I was like, I really want to hit him right now, but I really don't want to hit him right now.
Yeah.
Because if I hit him, I don't think I could just hit him and then that's it.
Again, like if anybody else had said it, you'd be like,
I feel like I'd keep going.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to fight him.
No, you can't.
So
you can't fight Bobby Hill. Sorry.
But yeah, I didn't want to hit him. So yeah, it was one of these things where he said something, it was just too much, and I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then
you're like, that's it, I'm leaving. You had driven.
Yes.
And so I don't know if he had angered Jessica to the point of no, he must have angered her too.
Well, she obviously felt enough of a way about it to leave with me.
Right. And they weren't married. Were they married at the time or not? Because they kayfabed that whole marriage.
They did, but let's see.
So I don't even know when it happened.
No, 100%. There's no, because that was 3 months before. Not even, that was 2.5 months before he passed away.
Oh yeah, so they were definitely married.
I want to say they got married the previous year.
So she's leaving her husband in Orlando with you and me for whatever he
and Ben with the ultimate baby face get jail out of free card moment. I mean, he was my ride. I have to go.
I was gonna say.
So I mean, Ben.
I did. I totally. I looked. I said, "Hey, I gotta go. He's my ride."
I mean, like Ben, caught in the crosshairs. I mean, he could have literally taken either side, but got the ride because he had the excuse. So
I wasn't and I knew from the night before I didn't want to be the one handling Jackie for the next 8 hours, trying to figure out how to get home, and also dealing with his rage now at being left here by his wife and his friend over a fight.
Right. So it's like, what do I do? But it was one of these things where I was like, I feel like I'm going to throw down right now, or I'm going to leave.
That'd have been this.
I feel like it was at the point where it was like I had no other choice. Like it was either I'm going to fight him or I got to go.
Yeah.
So I chose to leave.
I know that feeling pretty well.
Obviously,
I had those moments.
Talking all sorts of shit on the way out. And then at some point on the ride down, which if I remember correctly was relatively quiet between the three of us.
Well, it was just discussions about him, and he was still communicating with her.
Right. Well, because at the time, she was trying to
ID, didn't
he? Yeah. Some with the ID.
He was have an ID.
He was like trying to at one point.
Well, she was trying to buy a flight form in the car.
Right. And he didn't have. He had lost his. He couldn't find his wallet, so he had an ID. And then she was trying to get him a train ticket or something like that.
But nothing would work without an ID.
Ticket or something.
Right.
But he needed an ID for everything.
Yeah.
I think. And then eventually, I don't know if you did something or we saw it on social media, but there's a picture with him and Gil in the car. Gil saving the day.
Kevin Gill somehow bumped into him or whatever. I guess after he checked out, he may have been sitting in the lobby fuming or at the lobby bar fuming, still angrily texting her or calling her. But in the car driving down, there was a lot of back and forth and her crying the whole time because at a certain point it became about her leaving him and not you anymore, Blake.
Right.
So then he turned all of his shit on her. But at some point there was a picture of him with Kevin Gill and he was burying at least you.
Without saying my name.
He didn't say anything about he still was cool with me for like another week or so, and then got mad at me for liking a picture. But until then,
That is true.
So that's the Kevin Gill connection, because Kevin was at the time, was he the producer of the Keeping It 100, or was
he was involved?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was involved.
Right. So that got brought right to them. So anyway, the whole drive back, there's like not even a discussion of turning around to go back and get him. He's still abusing her. I think you. Was he trying to even contact you at all, or was that done once you left?
I don't think he did, at least that day.
Yeah.
I think for that day, for the most part, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. This was a few months before he passed. So I had already stopped talking
This
to
was
Jackie.
the last time I saw him.
Yeah, I think, Marco, I think you were the first one to stop talking.
I
to
was.
him.
I was because I confronted him about the alcoholism.
I couldn't remember if you spoke to him again.
Because remember, I confronted him about the alcoholism, and that didn't go well. And I was like, bro, look, we're good, man. I love you, but I'm not doing this anymore with you. Like, I was over it.
Because I think it sounds like
We had the side thread.
Well, I was
It
going to say,
a
this
side
sounds
thread.
like some weird wrestling title history. Like, I think the current thread is actually the side thread.
It is.
It is.
Side thread. It is.
It is.
Because I left the thread.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't
Yeah.
interacting
Because we
with him
created
anymore.
the side thread because I left, and he kicked me out of the
Well,
thread.
I think we
Right,
created
right.
the side thread for the weekends.
Well, yeah.
Right.
No, but
Talk
initially,
about what he was doing on the weekend.
originally,
yeah.
when he would get out of control, we would just
Like,
go
it
on
was
the
too
side
much
thread.
to interact
Yeah.
with him. Like,
Yeah.
everything
Huh.
we said, he would go off the handle.
and I finally confronted him, and I was just like, I wasn't having it anymore. I was just over it because I'm like, bro, it's like this. We're not doing this roundabout bullshit anymore. And that's when I left, and then WrestleMania happened, and that's what on the side thread been and keeping everybody up the spar. That's right, because like the main thread was like quiet forever.
Yeah, I wouldn't have posted on the main thread because Jackie could see that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was the last time I saw him.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, there's, multiple social media barbs thrown. I mean, he was trying to, like, fight me on Facebook.
And he's like telling anyone he can what a piece of shit.
Well, the crazy part is, I mean, obviously everyone has their opinions, and I'm sure, predisposed opinions of me and whatever, like, probably factored into people, taking a side or whatever, because I'm sure most people took a side. I mean, it's, But at the same time, I mean, most people could probably tell based on his post he was not sober. So,
And
they
anybody
probably
that-
took it with a grain of salt.
Anybody that actually knew Jackie.
One guy vehemently took his side. Who was it?
Dude, I don't fucking remember. You're talking to the wrong person.
There's one guy who was like coming at me. I got to defriend the whole bit. All because
Vito.
of this. No,
No?
it's the name. It's fantastic. It's a South Florida state.
Who?
Well, the fact that Anthony just said who makes it even better.
Who was it?
J-Dog.
Oh, J-Dog. Yes. How did he even get involved in this?
It's J-Dog on social media. He found a way.
Jesus.
Well, Jackie was
But,
talking to anyone that would listen.
And, there's that, like, Jackie probably has some weird respect for him because of Rusty. He probably liked Jackie because he thought he could
Wow.
maybe get a rub with a name. It's all that.
That weird, shitty indie thing you
Right.
roundabout talk, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what we forgot? And I gotta hop off here because I gotta take a work call here in a second. But we forgot that Jackie tried to fight Hurricane.
Wait, when did he try to fight Helms?
that wasn't at that.
It wasn't that many.
Wasn't that?
No, that was at
Oh, that was at
SuperCon.
SuperCon. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, didn't he hit
Never
him?
mind.
No.
They were like,
But
face
he
to
was-
face
someone?
'cause of Wayne.
He got into it with Wayne, and I
That's
think
right, it was SuperCon.
and Helms was being rational and took Wayne's side on the issue.
Right,
and then,
right.
And then Jackie got into it with Hurricane. And then
Uh-huh.
when we were back at the hotel, he unfriended him on Facebook. And Hurricane's going to me and Lou. He unfriended me on Facebook. What the hell's going on?
Right, that
and,
was at SuperCon.
and me and
That's
Lou were
right,
like,
that's
"Oh, that's
right.
just Jackie being Jackie." It'll be
Yeah.
over. But Hurricane hadn't
Jesus.
dealt with that before, the unfriending part of and the fight and whatever. And we're like, because Jackie used to mind his P's and Q's around the boys more
Right.
than anyone, and he got too.
Well, I remember my first taste with the defriending thing is with you, Ben, when he did it right before the first Ring Warriors taping. When y'all had that.
Well, we fell out for like 6 months or something.
But I remember there being a big fallout, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, because at this point I was like, oh, Jackie and Ben, like, what happened? Like, how could they possibly not be friends anymore? Like, what is all this? And then the next day, I see you at the Ring Warriors taping. You both walk in the back door, like, hugging, shaking hands.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what?
It's a funny thing. Like,
I forget about all those because they're so common.
Right, but at the time, this is my first taste.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what the hell's
Jackie was just one of those guys that you didn't truly know until he hated your guts at least once.
Well, I've always
I got it. I got it after because I went on Keeping It 100, and Disco straight up said, "Is Jackie part of the Breakfast Club or not?" And I was like, "No," and that was it.
Oh!
The day it aired, he called. He's like, "You motherfucker! You're such a piece of shit!" Just going on and on. Why would you go on that show? Why would you do that? Why would you let Disco and Conan talk you into that?
I've always said
he wasn't even there for the abandonment, and he's the one they interviewed.
Right. I've
You
always.
know what the best part was? It was Kevin Gill who reached out to me.
Yeah, Gil reached out to all of us. I blew him off because I didn't
That
want
was the best
except
part.
me.
I didn't want the Jackie heat.
I don't think I got it.
Oh, you didn't get it?
I don't think I did.
The guy who saved Jackie reached out.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, fitting.
I always said that you were never a good friend of Jackie if you've only been friends with him once on Facebook.
Right.
Right.
You needed the full experience, man.
Like if you got your friend-iversary with Jackie and it was more than like 2 years, there's a problem.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree.
You never usually reached one because
That's like the sign with X number of days since an accident. It eventually has to reset.
Right.
Jesus. I got to hop off, so you guys can continue.
All right, AJ.
We'll taper it off.
All right. Later.
So
the fallout.
So we leave him, and he hasn't unfriended me yet. But then over the course of the next few days, there's all kinds of shit hitting the fan. Like, Gil reaches out to Anthony, and Anthony does the podcast, and they're asking about it, and Anthony's just saying, yeah, he was just being a drunk ass the whole weekend, et cetera, et cetera. And Jackie gets fucking hot. And I'm, like, basically, like, not reaching out to him, but also kind of just not... I just keep praying he doesn't reach out to me either. Because I don't know. I think he called me once, and I was, like, very neutral about everything.
You're Sweden right now.
I played dumb.
You're Switzerland.
I
You're
played
just like,
dumb.
Hey, man, I just want to chill right
whatever.
now.
But I do remember that then... I forget if it was Jim Winters or someone went online and put the Versus picture of you and him.
I think it was Luke.
It was Luke. Luke put a picture of you, side by side of you and him, and it was like a Versus thing.
Yep.
All I did was like it. And immediately he went after me and cut promos on me. You know, personal shit, of course.
But that's him looking for the outlet.
And then unfriended me. He was looking for an excuse to be mad at me because I wasn't
Yes.
I wasn't reaching out and having his back or fighting for him.
And he's already mad at me.
But he can't.
He's already mad at Marco. But he's already mad at Anthony.
He couldn't do anything yet because I hadn't done anything wrong.
That's what I'm saying. So you're the last man standing.
I was.
Or Drew, technically, but Drew and Jackie never really...
I mean, Drew probably could have punched Jackie in the face and he'd been like, bro,
Yeah,
like,
we're good,
hit me as hard as you hit Roman.
We're good.
Like, you know, but yeah, no, that's the truth. I mean, there's many times where you could see I'm like, Jackie's looking to fight Ben right now. Where I'm like, you're like, I'm watching it. Like, he's finding a way to fight
And you
Ben.
see me, like, trying to navigate.
Right.
Dude, the one thing, which we can't get into the whole story, but we'll have to bring this up. Remember the night that I invited Jackie to hang with us downtown? He said no thanks, and then a bunch of other people showed up.
Oh,
like
Vito.
Vito.
I wasn't
and
there.
JoJo.
It was the
You
night
were
before.
there.
It was the night before the first Ring Warriors.
Yes.
I was. To me at the time, was
He got so mad at me, and I'm like, dude, I invited you. And he's like, but you didn't tell me Vito. And I'm like, wait a minute, are you telling me
that's the deal breaker?
it's only cool to hang out with me if I've got other people? If it's just me, I'm not good enough. But if you want to be a D-level starfucker, and when Vito LaGrasso comes and shows up, then it's worth your time. It's like, well, I don't know this. I'm not gauging this. I'm not re-inviting you. You see we're here. Just show up.
We used to do it
He
every
got
weekend.
so mad. I avoided every group picture that night.
Yeah, it's funny.
And they were antagonizing him on Facebook because he was cutting promos on me.
Yeah, all
and
the
getting mad.
pictures I've seen from that night, you're definitely not in them.
I'm in like one of them. I'm in like one of them.
That's funny.
That was the night. That was the night that the girl that I banged at, that I met at the poorhouse.
That's right.
Recognized Marco
And AJ.
and AJ. Recognized you as Marco. Recognized him as Mario. From my social media.
That's pretty impressive.
Mario.
But she marked out too.
Yeah, she did.
she got excited.
She marked out for the temples.
Not for me, for you guys.
That's exciting.
That was funny. So like Anthony can always say he was recognized in public for he's got TikTok stories now, but you got to hear some of those.
He has a couple of times gotten recognized for the Slambinos.
Yeah, but for being
Which
Mario
is wild
at
to
a
me to
convention.
think about, that someone's going to say, hey, didn't I see you wrestling on WGN?
Right.
I mean, I guess it's possible.
Within that 6-week window.
It was 13.
Was it?
It was 13.
It was 6 for me.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't watch anyone.
I will say to this day, it's still on my DVR.
yeah. Well,
I
it's
mean,
cool.
you know.
I mean, you're in it. I
Right.
mean, yeah.
Hey, he's gonna bring me in anytime now. Anytime now.
Cousin Marco.
Anytime. Anytime. Anytime.
Frankie.
Howard's got me in his eyesight.
I can't wait to call him back on the way home.
I need to. I definitely need a refresher. I got to find that podcast because they only talked to him for like 3 minutes or so.
Who's this?
The 100 with that Anthony called in.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'd love to.
Was that short?
It wasn't long. If it was 10 minutes, it was.
It might have been.
It was.
I remember listening. I remember it being not that juicy.
We all no. But
Well, I remember them kind of put Anthony on the spot and Anthony not want to play.
Right,
No, but because you'd have to deal with Jackie afterwards.
dude. I don't think if you were ready to talk about it publicly, you might have been, but it was
I
like
don't think I wanted to.
there was no reason for me to talk about it.
I don't think I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how hard it was to finally have the conversation with Jackie where it's like, bro, you're done. Like, can't do this anymore kind of thing. Knowing what was going to happen.
Right.
Because whenever you dealt with Jackie in any way, you had to, in your mind, work, okay, I'm going to say this. He is then going to go on a 3-day rant about this. Am I prepared to deal with this from everybody hitting me up and deal with all the bullshit that's going to come with
Well,
this?
that's the thing, because I was still friends with him on social media for most of it. So I'm seeing these vague posts about me.
You can't just have an argument with Jackie and that be
And
that.
like my father's seeing him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God. Like,
Dad Week's like, what's happening?
yeah, it's like, come on. He doesn't understand like the Jackie like thing.
Well, because he didn't see it.
Yeah.
There were a
but
lot
just
of
in
people
general.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they just like the how he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're friends with him on social media, like you see the posts from like
You get it.
2:30 in the morning, you have an idea. But like in person, the actual like,
Right.
yeah.
And it's funny because we're sitting here and we're absolutely. The funny thing is we're absolutely not really beating him up. It might sound like we're beating him up.
No.
But we're all smiling.
Yeah.
And we're all
Oh, that's
thinking of
great.
it fondly.
That was great.
And we only think of Jackie fondly. Even drunk Jackie, we think of fondly. Because again, if it wasn't on you, it was.
Yeah.
Listen,
fantastic.
of course,
It was fantastic.
of course, it got to us at times. That's why we created a side thread. But at the same time, it was still like
Any falling out, and even that one, if he hadn't passed away, we'd have all eventually reconnected on that. I'm sure of it because
Well-
I know the time that I stepped away for like a good 6 to 8 months, that I thought it was done, and then I'm back to being best friends with him again at some point.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, obviously, you guys know. I'm sure, anyone listening to this probably knows as well. But our other good friend Wayne Van Dyke passed away, 3 weeks or so
Prior to
Jackie. And when I went,
It was more than
3 to 4. It was
that close.
my birthday's May 19th. It was after my birthday in May, and Jackie's was in June.
Wow, didn't seem that close.
Yeah, so it was one of these things where I remember going to Wayne's, the whole reception for him.
Whatever you call it, remembrance, funeral.
Yeah,
yada, yada.
wasn't really a funeral, but
Right,
kind of a celebration of his
Yeah,
life.
Yeah. Same thing Jackie had.
Right, very very similar. Now again, I didn't speak to him for the last 2.5 months or so. Didn't he have a job, like right at the end?
Yeah, he was
Jackie?
doing landscaping.
Who? No,
not the Hicks, not the Hicks nonsense.
Oh, not the Hicks nonsense. Okay.
No, he
was going to do the Hicks nonsense, but
He was never really going to do the Hicks nonsense.
He gave Hicks the impression.
Yes, he did. He did that.
No, but was he doing something like a movie?
No, he was working for.
Or no, sports
for Fox Sports.
Right.
Oh, that's
or maybe not for Fox specifically, but he was going to do that.
related,
that,
right?
that crew union stuff. Yeah.
Because I remember,
like cable running.
like he actually got a gig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he got sober for the time he was working.
But it was like, I mean, I want to say maybe he had like a gig or 2 gigs. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't much.
Well, he'd get a gig, but it would be X number of days.
But it was
Yeah.
something where he had a gig and he couldn't go to the Wayne's thing.
Ah.
And in my mind, I was like,
You thought that was going to be.
we're celebrating our friend who's not with us anymore. Like, I feel like he's going to baby face me when he sees me.
Yeah.
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 And like, and it's
You'd have
gonna-
that opportunity to have.
I
a
did
real
that with a few
conversation.
people at Jackie's.
Right, and then it was good. We'll get to that in a second. And then I was expecting him to, something to happen there, but he couldn't go,
Yeah.
so I never saw him.
Right.
But that would have been it. But at Jackie's, there was one person there I was expecting to do that, not really on my end, but at least on their end, like have a conversation with me, and they pushed out.
Who?
Paul Jones.
Oh.
Paul Jones. I
didn't even remember he was
there. I don't know if you remember. He was doing a lot of lingering, a lot of like hanging outside the circle stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, hovering.
Just
And-
popping in if he knew someone and talk to them.
Yeah.
Like I talked to him. I remember now.
And he had ample opportunity to have a conversation and never did.
Yeah.
And I remember even Howard saying something. I was like, Howard, like he saw, like I was there, like he had a chance.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I wasn't going to go up to
I
him.
remember because of the time I had.
You're the wrong party.
I had. To,
See that's a Larry thing, because there's some people who would just do it anyway. But I'm going to stick to the principle. You fucked me. You got to say something to me.
right. You owe me the apology.
Correct.
I'm not rebuilding this bridge.
I'm sticking with
That's
that.
on you.
Yeah.
and see, I had.
You burned it. You burned it. You built it.
I'm with you. On
I
that.
had like a sort of similar situation with that because that was. Remember that time was the whole FSCW thing, so I wanted to like fucking kill Alex. I was not.
That was the first time you probably saw Al.
It was
in
not,
like
It was the first time I'd seen him.
Yeah.
2.5 years.
I had pleasant conversations with him, but it
Al.
obviously was phony.
It's Al.
Because ever since
Yeah.
then,
And I just remember telling, like, I just remember, like, I don't even, like, I don't want to, like, have an interaction at all because it's Jackie's thing, and we're all trying to, like, adjust to what just happened. Because, remember, for the most of us, it was just like, did this really just happen? Like, it was crazy because you saw it on the wall for the longest time, but at the same time,
no,
you're like,
you never actually thought that would happen.
Yeah,
No.
the rug got pulled out of
yeah,
us.
it really got. You saw, like from my perspective,
Like we could have seen maybe
You
like a trip to rehab.
You know who I thought would show his face and didn't, like, which was bullshit, especially since he created a Jackie Johnson kind of match, was Mr. Mike Broder.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Mike Broder, and this is I don't have a lot of bad
the
things
other
to say
guy
about
who
Mike.
always does the Shane David. I thought you were gonna say Shane David.
No, Shane David doesn't leave his house for anything, unless it's an autograph. But I thought that because we had all roomed together, we'd known each other for like 20 years since the old autograph days, that he had given him a job at SuperCon for some of the stuff, and that no
was
matter what,
surprising.
even if you had a falling out with Jackie, which people did, that if you had a long history with the man and you had more good memories than bad memories, that you might have shown your face there.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see him there, and I was expecting to have to be, polite and shake a hand and
Sure.
whatever. And I mean,
That's right, because we talked about that. Because you were that was your position, and my position was stay the fuck away from me.
right?
Logically, anticipation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you want to be prepared.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in not thinking you're going to have to deal with something. And any funeral is like you think you might have to deal with something.
Because I was in like the height of all my bitterness, and I was just like, none. I didn't want nothing, none of it. It was hard enough to deal with the situation at hand, to have to be asked to do something different. But ultimately, none of that ever even occurred or needed to happen, because obviously all the people we're talking about don't have the balls to be men and look other men in the eyes and be like, hey man, let's just talk about this. You're Paul Jones, my Chamberlain, whatever it might be.
Sure.
Broder and whatnot. It was a good event. It was a good event.
You know what? Surprisingly, that was a fun day.
Yeah.
That was a really fun day.
Out of curiosity, did that Luke Hawx Jackie Memorial show make Luke any money? Did it even happen?
Luke?
Yeah, Luke was going to run a memorial show. Remember that?
No, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I remember I don't think it ever got to even like the real planning stages.
I don't think so either, but it was mentioned.
It was mentioned because I remember being like,
people say a lot of things
like,
when they're emotional.
Yeah.
I remember being like, well, I better work this show.
Yeah, same here.
Right.
That's what I was wondering if it was successful, made any money for Luke.
No,
But it probably never happened.
no, I'd
Yeah.
say with 100% certainty it didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, we would have known about it. I would have gone.
I mean, I'm not like Luke's not like my best friend, but I'm 99% positive Luke would have reached out and asked me to be a part of the event.
Oh, 10-4. All right, that's cool. Like, I just didn't know.
Aren't you in that?
I play fantasy football with him.
Right. You guys have a circle
Like
discussion.
Jackie was in the league.
Yeah.
Like they had to
okay.
basically.
He brought
10-4.
you in.
Yeah, he brought me in. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hurricane, Luke, all those guys.
Nilsson, all those guys.
Absolutely.
Dude, he's. We'll get into that later.
What are you going to do this year when there's no football?
A lot of faces being made over there.
They've already taken a lot away from me. Let me at least hold on to fantasy while I have it.
I'm just
I don't think
kidding.
they're
We'll have
taking-
football.
yeah,
we'll have
we'll-
football.
All I'll
play
say
out
is
these-
this. I mean, obviously, this is not a COVID-19 or a political
No, but we're
podcast,
talking about it.
But I will say, with Trump coming out yesterday saying he hopes to get fans back in the stadiums by August or September, baseball's done.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, and I think,
They may not get fans back in, but maybe they'll get players back in.
I think
play
in
some
the
empty
next,
games
in the next week, we'll probably get more of an idea that basketball's done too.
Did you hear that nonsense they were thinking about? And you're like, dude, that's not going to work.
The Las
man.
Vegas thing?
Yeah, that's not going to work.
You know what?
There's too much personnel that has to be.
I understand.
utilized.
You know, it's one of those things that's tough as someone that's like, you know, whether it's wrestling or sports, you know, kind of on both sides of the fence. Like, hey, I'm in the business, but you know, I'm also a fan too.
Yeah.
I can see things from both sides. Like, I understand the need to crown a champion. I understand the need to fulfill media rights and things.
However,
like that.
at the same time,
Everything's insured though. The league's insured. The teams are insured. The network probably is insured.
Right.
For losses like this.
Well, there's also that. Shoot, I can't think of the name. It's the force majeure clause.
Right.
So I mean, there's a chance that I don't know what that covers. You know, like WWE obviously covered with the insurance for Mania
And the WrestleCon thing.
good WrestleCon thing. I guess as someone that's like such a purist and such a fan of like the integrity of the game and things like that, like you want to put an asterisk on Bonds and all these other guys. There's no bigger asterisk than seasons like this.
yeah.
So it's like, to me, anything that happens in the season, it's like, yeah, but.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I'd almost rather there not be a season.
It's impossible because once it starts snowing in places, they're not having a season, man.
And also, it's, you know, I mean, they've tossed around things like playing them in only spring training facilities and, you know, kind of keeping things in a cluster.
There's some things you can't do, man.
And I'd rather, I mean, I hate to say it, and, you know, maybe I'm thinking without actually seeing it play out, but
Yeah.
regular baseball with no fans in a spring training park, like, and those stats are supposed to count, you know, towards incentives and towards all-time marks and things like that. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I'd rather just not even see it.
I think football's the only sport that has a chance because it starts so late.
Football, the timing was
As long as things follow the barrier where around that time we can think about opening it up, they're the only sport that has a chance.
Like, let's say, you know, they do this basketball thing in Vegas, and I don't know what format they'd use, best of 3, you know, single elimination. I don't know what the hell they'd use.
Because they were talking about finishing up the regular season before they did the playoffs.
The regular season had,
Because there was only like one conference or two that were close,
I was going
right?
to say 6 weeks left.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, teams are probably,
So just like a game or two just to do the
you know,
the rankings.
in the 15-ish range,
Yeah.
you know, of games left. But let's say that, you know, they do a weird format for the playoffs, and I mean, let's just say like we're here. Let's just say Miami wins.
Yeah.
That seems so random.
But again, in 10 years it won't matter.
No, I mean,
We'll remember, but our kids won't. Our kids will just be like, "Oh yeah, Miami won this in 2020. Yeah, it was something about the virus. I don't remember, but here we are now in like 2030."
All right.
Same with like
We're
Strowman.
sports fans. It's 21 years later. I mean, we obviously talked about the Heat having the lockout, but that was, what, 66 games? 1999, NBA played 50 games. Spurs won the title. I mean, do you think about that as having?
No.
Nope.
You don't think about it.
Nope.
You know, I'm trying to think of another example. I mean, NFL is pretty much played
For the most
full
part,
seasons.
yeah.
MLB.
I mean,
even when they had 9/11, they just shifted it back. We didn't cut a week.
Right, and MLB, I mean, 94.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no champion.
I mean, there's.
But people still remember the Expos as the 94, the team that was a team they could have won. They were in first. They're running away with things.
Yeah.
You know, in August, but then they closed the season. But, you know, it's like I don't – like if the NBA cancels right now, I think people in 20 years would remember LeBron and Anthony Davis probably were going to win the title.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
You know, but at the same time –
but it's not like a
and even so, let's restarting it. Listen, you restart the NBA. What's his face? Giannis is like, bro, I haven't touched a basketball in weeks.
This is the best player in the league, essentially. Doesn't even have a court in his own house.
I mean,
so he has no way to play.
Yeah,
because the NBA is tossing around an idea to do horse on national TV, like from different locations.
Just like, oh, that's hilarious.
But at the same time, I mean, you're talking the best player, guy who's probably going to win the MVP again.
No court in his house.
Doesn't even have the ability to participate.
So it's weird. It's weird from so many different angles. This whole ordeal. It's just funny. I didn't want to like skip off the Jackie thing, but I was just thinking about it. At the time.
That pretty much tapered off. I mean, we'd taken it to his funeral, so I mean, I guess that's.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much, you know, an Abandonment Monday. I mean that's.
It's just become a thing that I think It
was a major event. It shifted everything.
Yeah.
And
honestly, it's something that happened that because he passed away so soon after, that none of us got a chance to reconnect with him. Really,
but we would have.
I mean,
I know.
The next time I went to his home was with you.
Yeah.
To his to the I don't know what do you call it in a non-Jewish environment. We were sitting shiva.
Yeah,
but
wake, I guess, or is that an official thing? It's just visiting.
Is a wake, but the wake, the body's not there, or the body's there.
I don't know. I'm a Jew too. But
don't look at me, brother.
You're the last man standing.
I just call it a visit before.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we're all hanging out. Yeah. That.
Yeah. Celebrate. Oh my god! I remember that night, Bruce. Oh my goodness, Bruce. We were so drunk.
After the funeral.
Yeah.
I remember there's pay-per-view. Watch pay-per-view.
That was like the first
That was the last time we watched.
Right. We went back to Jackie's and Jessica's house and watched.
Great Balls of Fire.
Was it that one?
That was the one.
Jensen and Bruce came.
Well, I remember the main event was Joe and Brock, and I was actually looking forward to it.
Lou was there. I'm trying to think who else. There was
Sean.
Yeah, his son Sean was there.
Yeah, that's right. I think there was a lot of people there. It was, man, that was a long night.
That was the last.
That was the last hurrah.
Pay-per-view at Jackie's.
Yeah. The end of an era.
And then the next time that we really tried to do something, which is now we've turned into our own, was when we did the Rumble.
We did the Rumble here.
And I don't think I've been there since that day.
I don't think any of us have.
Well, I mean, if anyone would have, it would have been me.
Yeah.
But no, the answer is no.
10-4.
But yeah, and then ironically, the next year at the Rumble, we did it here, and Jessica won the men's.
Yeah.
No.
Earl won it.
Earl won
She played shenanigans with the numbers.
Oh, right, right.
I'm going with that story because it's funny.
It is. It's the best.
So Earl's won twice.
Earl's won twice.
She's his proxy. She bought his numbers, and so technically,
Earl's won twice.
Earl's won twice. The last time he won, he just walked in the door and won.
He only got paid once.
No, the last time was that. I mean, that you can't write that.
We got to tell that story at some point. I think we did, but we got to tell.
I mean,
we got to get Earl on here, man.
We will.
From me saying, I bet the next entrance Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
To like Earl coming in like 10 minutes later, and then just like
Earl had the Iggy. You knew he was waiting outside the door.
Right. It's like the run-in. It's like they're hey, come on, it's your turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unreal.
All right. Well, we've had this is what we didn't.
Is this a two-parter?
The two-parter? I don't think so.
No, I think
this is our longest podcast so far, though.
That's what I'm saying.
By far.
So
is it? I don't even know.
Oh, it's definitely reaching 2 hours.
It's so big, it can only be 2 nights.
This will be an annual thing, though. We should just honor and observe Abandonment Monday. These go up on a Monday, so, it works.
I'm like...
Plus, we'll remember other things. Like, even though we knew we were doing this and I was thinking about it, there's still stuff I just don't remember that's going to pop in my head.
So much stuff.
And I'm going to write it down.
I'm like 7 years retroactively annoyed that you have an Uproar shirt and I don't. Like, give me some merch.
Hear that, Croftus? Make sure our boy Chadwick gets an Uproar
It's
shirt.
the least you can do at this point.
Oh, my God.
All right,
I'm not touching that with a
let's wrap this up. There's
3-inch stick.
There's the rest of our Sunday. It's God's Day, sir. God's Day. He rested.
So, but I guess before we get out of here, I mean, it's gonna already be over at that point. But looking forward to anything tonight?
I don't even know what we've got left.
We got Fiend and Cena.
No, I'm not looking forward to that, except for the fact that it was filmed on not in that environment,
which will probably have a feel.
If it has a feel like the Undertaker,
I think it will.
Then that should be good.
And ironically, we were mentioning him earlier, but you probably have to give props to Jeremy Borash there, and
we do
and Krista Joseph.
It did exactly what it was supposed to.
Well, Krista Joseph, of course, was head of Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
and briefly was with me at MLW, Big Dick Johnson. So you got that. You've got Drew and Brock, which I think on some level we're all kind of interested in.
I like Rhea Ripley. I'm interested to see.
I'm interested in that. Ripley and Charlotte. That should be fun.
But I think the in studio empty arena matches are just nothing.
They have a ceiling.
The more I'm interested in them, the less they're going to deliver because there's no emotion. There's no There's no energy. There's no. It's amazing how much the crowd matters.
SmackDown Women's title, don't really care about that.
No.
Your proverbial Jim Duggan and Dino Bravo WrestleMania match with Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black. Don't really care about that. Austin Theory and Angel Garza against
last minute edition.
I mean, that match, taking nothing away at all from the 4 guys in it, that match easily could have been on an NXT episode 6 months ago.
I'm not going to make it to the podcast. I'll be back to it.
By the Prime. So I guess all hail Prime right now.
Yeah, I was hoping he brought the kidney stone. He said he has it.
Oh my goodness!
But I don't think he brought it.
I would love to see it,
dude. He said it's pretty big.
I would love this just to get. I would just like to see. Hey, that's what came out of your dick,
and it not be the usual suspects.
Right, exactly. So let's see. We've got. It's 8 matches. By the way, the kickoff match last night was your basic TV match with Gulak and Cesaro.
Yeah.
But tonight, Natalya and Liv Morgan could care less.
No.
About that one. And then Otis and Dolph. I do care about that.
I think
because something will happen.
Yes, and that maybe the comedy wins through without the audience on that one. With Otis,
something will be. Dolph's great.
The sympathy and the heartbreak that's with it is a little bit audience based, but they have a chance to do another take. I don't know if they're taking that opportunity or trying.
Well, I don't know if you saw last night. There were definitely I could catch a couple edits.
Yeah. But I also caught a few places where it needed an edit.
Sure.
Yeah.
That women's tag title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
The elbow drop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly there.
It's weird that you've got all the cameras rolling, and if they're doing the live editing, switching from camera to camera,
right?
That if they miss something, they didn't go back and post to rectify that.
Now, just a quick sidebar here. Kevin Dunn, I'm not trying to put him over here, but his job's extra challenging because think about how much he's used to cutting to the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
His shots are so limited. So he's working with a lot less than he's used to. So to me, pretty well done.
But I'm just no, absolutely. But my point was just that if you missed something,
right,
during a live edit, you have the chance to do over.
You can fix that.
All the cameras were rolling.
Absolutely.
I assume they were all recording, and it wasn't just rolling, and you're recording your edit feed, and that's it.
Right.
I don't know how it works exactly, but I assume they have all the cameras recorded the whole time. So when you miss a move,
right,
you could go back and pull do the edit a little sooner so you catch it.
And of course, the match I'm probably looking forward to the most tonight. I think this is the last one left
Edge and Orton
that we haven't mentioned is Edge Orton was the last man standing.
That's really, really needed a crowd.
And I agree, but if it is last man standing, maybe they brawl all over the Performance Center.
Maybe, but
I mean, to me, like that could be kind of fun.
This is the one where if you can't have an audience, you should have done it.
Like
you should have done it off location and had it done differently.
I'd imagine we'll see the same on NXT with Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah.
To me, that's the kind of thing that kind of it masks the lack of a crowd if you're going places, in my opinion. Like if you're moving out of the ring,
I guess.
Like it takes away.
Usually
like you're not
through the crowd,
right? But like if you're in the proverbial backstage area or something, or it kind of takes away.
Oh, yeah.
Like you forget that there's no crowd.
Right.
And I think, I don't know how much Edge was going to be working a regular match anyway. First match back.
I think he's ready and raring.
Right, but I'm saying in terms of hammer locks and wrist locks and that sort of thing.
Right.
I don't know how much we were going to see of that from him tonight, but
well, this is a brawl.
Yeah, right. Which to me, I think that will. I'm excited for that, and I think it will deliver.
Right.
Just because they're two. I mean,
they're two of the best.
Orton's, all time great.
Yeah.
I mean, so is Edge, obviously, but Orton's been doing it for 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously, they've had plenty of time to think and plan this thing out.
Sure. Sure. I wonder if you're in a situation like that, like with them. I mean, they're obviously the pros. They can go out there and just call it in the ring.
Right.
But you've got no house shows. You've got no TV. You got all this downtime. Like, are they texting back and forth? Like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
I think there's got to be a little of it.
There's got to be a little bit of it.
Got to be a little of it.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe with them because they're cool. They're friends.
It's not even like the week of Mania where they have the ring in the ballroom where they could kind of just walk through.
There's no media appearances.
Yeah.
Like you're not being whisked around town.
Right.
You're not doing shit.
Yeah.
You go in there, you do your 20 minutes, and you leave. I mean, there's got to be some level of that.
I mean,
especially
for sure
with like your Austin Theories and your Angel Garzas and your Street Profits and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you have to imagine they're going back and forth. Like, I mean, this is their opportunity. This is Mania.
Right. They have the time to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting. We'll see. I think tonight looks a little better than last night on paper.
I hope so. I think. I mean,
I had zero expectation for Braun and Goldberg.
Last night was what it was. I think that those matches would have been incredible in front of a crowd. So it's hard to say tonight will be better. It's probably gonna have the same exact feel.
It's funny. I just got a message here from one Marquis Bruce Santee, and he was saying how Owen stole the show last night. He knows how to talk shit and make it real.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much exactly what you said.
Yeah, the shit talking. I love that. And Bruce gets it when he wants to.
And you're the body guy.
I am the body guy. All right, on that, I'm gonna just wrap this up because Marco's abandoned us. Oh, he's back.
I'm back to say goodbye.
All right, goodbye.